soon. So we go back into let's go right back.
Go back to the second Esdras 9. Yes, sir.
So back in 2 Esdras 9:3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
Right, and we were just speaking about how the brother was bringing out, before the camera cut off. We were speaking before we cut on the cameras that there's been thousands of earthquakes from January 1st up until now, the 14th, which is unprecedented, man. The Lord is setting records concerning prophecy, all right, as well as the uproars of the people. All right, these things that we're seeing happening in the earth, they weren't happening 2, 5, 10 years ago. All right, there's more uproars of the people now, all right, than there was aforetime. And that's for a reason, because the Lord is stirring up the spirits on the earth. All right? You got it?
Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
Right, and the end is being made manifest right before our eyes. The end of this wicked empire, spearheaded by Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is being manifest right before us. All right, as the Lord prepares us a table in the midst of our enemies, he's destroying the table of these devils, man. All right, their economy is failing, their society is failing, the morale is at an all-time low, the mirth is at an all-time low. All right, the monetary system is failing. All the systems that this devil has set in place for him to rule forever are failing right now before our eyes. So the end is being made manifest, and the beginning of it that followeth is being manifest right before their eyes, starting with brethren around the four corners of the globe. All right, the elect of the nation of Israel. Lord willing, where that number.
Hey, I want to read this because you mentioned about, if you can, you said again about the men of the Lord being like the mediator between the Lord and.
Right, because the Lord called his the leaders of his people angels. And the word angel means messenger.
Right.
And a messenger is a go-between between two parties.
Right. So this is Isaiah 49:1. Listen, O owls, unto me, and hearken ye people from far. The Lord have called me from the womb. From the bowels of my mother have he made mention of my name. And he have made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand have he hid me, and made me a polished shaft. In his quiver have he hid me. And he said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught, and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with the Lord, and my work with my power. And now saith the Lord, that formed me from the womb, to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him, though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of the Lord, and my power shall be my strength. And he said, It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob, and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
Hey, and right now the Lord's servants, the prophets, are the go-between between the Lord and his people. Because right now the Lord is speaking unto his people first and foremost, all right, the elect of the nation of Israel, to repent before he brings down the judgment that he's foreordained for the earth.
Hey, so like if I can say this, Yahushua was the mediator, right? But then he said, I call y'all friends, and everything that my father gave to me, I gave it to y'all. So like the brother's saying, now the mediators, hey, starting with the apostle, great millstone, elder bishops and elders, younger brothers, that's what it is. You got it.
And the servants are being made known the true will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, the true mind of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, and what he intends for the earth and for his people. All right, that's the go-between right now that the Lord has set up. That's the government that the Lord is establishing in the earth. And to go against that government is to directly go against the orders of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, which is treason.
He said he have given to us his Holy Spirit in 1 Thessalonians 4:8.
Because the kingdom involves a lot of working parts. When you watch these older movies and you deal with these kingdoms, they have to gather the lords of all of these different regions. They have to talk to these lords and say, look, how's the region? What it's looking like in your realm? You got those guys who are specialized in treasury. All of these different positions. Where the Lord is setting up a kingdom, a government. Because Christianity made the kingdom of heaven sound all mystical like a Final Fantasy video game or some kind of strange movie. No, it's a government that's going to happen on earth in righteousness. And that's what the Lord is setting up. Because just like Yahweh Shai is our mediator, we will become mediators to the other nations. Right. We will be able to guide them and enforce the law, all right, in their region and in their area. That's why the little hills are going to float onto the great mountain of the Lord.
Right. It goes into this chapter 2. It's verse 7, Isaiah 49:7. Thus saith Yahweh, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despised, to him whom the nations abhorred, to a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise, princes also shall worship. Talking about the elect of Israel. Because of the Lord that is faithful, the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. Thus saith Yahweh, in the acceptable time have I heard thee, and in the day of salvation have I helped thee, and I will preserve thee and give thee for a covenant of the people, to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages.
Hey, it says to establish the earth.
Right.
What does the scripture say? Through the multitude of the wise.
I got it.
That's the spirit.
Wisdom of Solomon 6:24. But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise king is the upholding of the people.
Right.
The king is not set up to just take advantage of the people. Right. He's set up to manage resources efficiently. We've been taught that a king is just, he got a bunch of concubines, he drink wine all day, and he just having a good ass time. When you watch movies like King on Netflix, you see the real responsibility that come with those positions. Right. That's why we're learning those responsibilities without those rewards. Because we're going to be set up, Lord willing, we be a part of that number. The nation of Israel is going to be set up under Yahweh Shai as those regulators, those rulers with integrity. We're not ruled by people with integrity right now. Right. We're ruled by people who are greedy, and they're all out for their own self-interest. When you deal with capitalism, when you boil capitalism down to the common denominator, it's everybody profiting off of individuals' greed. Well, the rulers in the kingdom of heaven are going to be rulers in righteousness. We are going to have the top position on the earth under Yahweh Shai, but the world, the resources are going to be managed with equity. Not taking advantage of the people, so only a few people on earth win while everybody else loses. The world should not be in this condition, where you only have a handful of countries that can actually have a civilization that's not wild and chaotic, while the majority of the planet at this point has been turned into a literal wilderness, where people are starving, people are low on resources, because all the resources are concentrated to one section of people, and they're ruling the earth with greed, man.
I got 2 precepts.
You got it?
It's Isaiah 24:4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish.
Why? Because nigga can just take your land, bro. If they got enough guns and they got enough military, they can just look at you and be like, man, let's just take that shit, man. That's the world we live in. That's why the scripture said they will no longer learn war anymore. That means the kingdom of heaven is gonna have to be on earth, because ain't no wars being fought in heaven. Right. In that day and age, it's gonna be understood you can't just take what's not yours. Right. But people can do that in this society, man.
And because the job of a king is to what? Relieve the oppressed and help the widow.
Right. And that's what Yahweh Shai is coming to do. Right. He's gonna rule with equity. He's gonna rule with an iron fist. That's the only way you're gonna actually be able to enjoy peace. Terror is going to come and destruction is going to come to this age so that peace can flourish. But wickedness has to be stomped out completely. Whenever a king came into rulership, anything he thought was opposition lost their fucking head. Excuse my French. Because he didn't have time to be worried about, man, is this nigga going to kill me one day? Let's just get him out the way. You have certain kings where the Ottoman Empire is a perfect example. The one king would kill all his brothers.
Bro, that's why
he would kill all his brothers just to go ahead and eliminate the paranoia so he could actually have rulership. The scriptures say the angels are going to come out and they're going to plug out everything that offend. And anything else that don't want the Lord to rule over, bring them hither.
Hey, Solomon's kingdom was established because King David got rid of all the enemies, man.
And that's what the elect are going to be set up to do. They're going to be set up to do the dirty work so that 2/3 can come into a kingdom already established.
Right, man.
But that's why the
Right.
glory is different.
Right.
No, because Jake don't want to be around now while the foundation being built up.
Right. Right.
They want to party and bullshit.
Right.
Because Esau give them license to do so. Well, in the kingdom of heaven, when it's established, and Jake get to be born into a world, oh, I don't die? Oh, snap, we reigning forever?
Yeah, that's cold.
How that got set up? Then they get to go through the whole story.
Right.
Because every Israelite is going to go back to one of the men of the elect. Every Israelite going to have to, who's your father? Oh, no, who is your father? Who was the beginning of y'all? I don't want to know about your immediate daddy. I'm talking about the one.
Yeah.
Who is the one from y'all? Who is the elect member that
Who
started y'all
your
family?
lineage? Yeah.
What's your father's name? We ain't talking about your immediate father. We talking
Right.
about the progenitor.
Yeah.
Looking at that's who we looking for.
That's what I'm talking about.
Lord willing, that's what you're fighting for now.
Right, man.
That's why it's ugly and it's bitter and it hurt. When you're on the front line, everything is bitter. Everything hurt. Because you're in the beginning of it. All the heat coming your way. That's why scriptures talk about enduring hardness as a good soldier. Because the glory is gonna be different, man. You gotta know.
That's why when you go into war tactics, and men of war, the men that were always at the front line, the ones that held the spear, those had to be the most courageous men because they faced the heat of the battle.
Right.
That's when you first clash. That's the heat of the battle, and when you right there in front of the heat, that's everybody's weapons against you. You gotta be fortified. You gotta be one of the most courageous men in that empire to stand on the front lines. That's why very few kings stood on the front line because the front line is very dangerous, man. On the front line, you damn near subject to die, unless you a skillful man of war. Unless the Lord is with you, man.
Yeah.
Hey, and they say when you watch a guy named Dan Carlin, he got a podcast, but he go into history, and he talk about ancient history a lot. One thing that he mentioned was that a lot of guys in an army, a lot of people that died, they got stabbed in the back because if the front line, if they got shook and they started running, the bravest ones was the ones that stayed.
Yeah.
And everything else got whacked, running away from the battle.
Right,
That's why the scriptures talk about if there's somebody that's fearful, get them out the way. Because if the heat of the battle happened and you start, at the corner of your eye, you start seeing people leaving,
Yeah.
then they go from a 1-on-1 to a 6-on-1. Easy.
Yeah.
Just that quick.
Yep. Hey, I was gonna keep reading on this and get the second one.
Yeah. Con.
Real quick to hit the point though, because when Yahushua come in the rulership and power, he's gonna stomp out everything moving. That's why when you look at how the other nations are gonna be under captivity for 1,000 years, they're not gonna have no leadership and rulership. They ain't gonna have no government. They ain't gonna have none of that. They're gonna be under hard bondage. And then after them 1,000 years, then they're gonna be able to go home and establish what they have. That's the Lord completely stomping out anything that even looked like rulership to establish the kingdom of heaven. When you deal with them Ottoman Turks, they was killing their brothers to eliminate any opposition. Yahushua is coming and he's gonna eliminate all opposition, man. And then under that rulership, the world is gonna flourish. But it has to happen this way. Thus with violence. It has to be stomped out.
Hey, everything happened with violence, man.
Right.
Everything that goes on with taking over rulership. Listen, what is that on? In Matthew, the Lord said, hey, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, right? And the violence took it by force, man. So Yahushua coming back to do the same thing.
Right.
The kingdom of heaven is Israel. It say the kingdom of heaven, so it's saying Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians was taken by force, was taken by violence, and the violence, who is the violence? Esau. He took it by force. Yahushua finna come do the same thing, right side up, man.
Hey, because unfortunately, that's the only language people understand.
Right.
It's violence.
That
When you
is
try
the
to-
language.
Yeah, when you try to speak to people normally, they don't understand that. You gotta put fear in it.
Ecclesiastes the 10th chapter. As the judge is, so is the people.
Right.
What language does Esau speak?
Violence.
Violence.
So-
By force.
So what language is the popular language of the world at this point? Violence. That's all it, well, what it say in Wisdom of Solomon in the 2nd chapter? Let our strength be the law of justice.
Yeah.
Meaning
Yeah.
it ain't about justice no
Right.
more. Who got a sword?
It's
Your
about
sword
force.
big? Your sword, how long
Right.
you been training? All right, well, if you ain't been training as long as me, I'll take your shit. And that's gonna be justice.
Military
What are you
style.
gonna do about it? That's the attitude and mentality that's on the planet, and it comes from a particular nation of people, man. As the king is, so are the people. So the Lord is going to come back, and he's going to speak to the world in a language that they understand, which is violence, man.
That's it. That's it. You got to reach a precept.
This is Isaiah 24 and verse 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
Hey, nobody did that, but Esau Edom, man. You got it.
Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
And let's say therefore the curse have devoured the earth. What the Lord tell Cain? That the earth should not yield its full strength, man. Right? So now, who's in control of the earth? Well, now we got GMO food. Why? Because they ain't doing the land Sabbath. So now the earth is not yielding its full strength in the food. Now we eat lab-grown meat. The so-called white man did that, man. You had another precept.
I had it, but I forgot the point I was going to bring out with it.
You got one?
If you read it, it might reach y'all. Read it, bro.
It's Isaiah 2 and verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days, Shalom, that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Beautiful.
Which is the government. That's the government. And what the world is witnessing, contrary to popular belief, is the beginning of that government. The beginning of the government of the kingdom of heaven. Starring the people that the world hate the most.
Right.
Beginning with the elect among them. Lord, will we be a part of that number? But a government, a kingdom is being set up. And we're waiting for the prince, the king of kings.
Oh, I just read in Isaiah 49 that say they was that was spies and was a whore. The Lord finna make them be known through his covenant, man.
And I bring out this point all the time, that two kings can't sit in rulership.
Right.
Like the Lord said, you can't serve two masters.
Right.
You either loyal to King Esau in this world,
Right.
or you loyal to Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. But there is no in between. In the ancient world, when somebody was crowned king, they called all the lords to that region to bend the knee in front of them. So
Right.
they already know you with this shit.
Right.
Because at that time, your word meant something. So if you didn't show up, if you didn't bow, all right, I'm sending soldiers and we ain't talking no more.
Act
Back
of
to
rebellion.
testimony, man.
Yep.
Going back to not having no opposition. They couldn't take no chances. And when you deal with the Ottomans, I'll just read a little bit of this article. It said this: one of the clearest examples of the ruthless nature of the Ottoman Empire was the fratricide, which is the killing of your brothers, practiced between the reigns of Mehmed II, the conqueror, and Mehmed III. During this period, the Ottoman sultans were legally allowed to execute their brothers to avoid civil wars that could destabilize the state. So the Lord is coming to take all the crowns. Ain't no civil war. It ain't nothing to talk about.
Right.
All the crowns.
Right. And all shall bend the knee before the Messiah, man.
And like it says in Luke the 19th chapter, those who would not, that I should reign over them,
Reigning hither, say them before.
that's, hey, all right.
Hey, read that again. I know you're holding some. I want you to read that Ezekiel 39 after that, though.
Isaiah 2 verse 2. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. Shalom. And shall be exalted above the hills, and all the nations shall flow into it. And many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Why? Because the government being established.
Right.
Ain't all the original borders are gonna get cut back. Everybody, the land of Moab is gonna return to the nation of Moab.
Right.
The lands of Ishmael and Japheth is gonna return to their heritage, and it's gonna be regulated. Then they're gonna beat their swords in the plowshares. They're gonna get back to agriculture, because it ain't no fight. You got one Israelite that can take out, all right, in the kingdom of heaven, the Lord said, the feeble shall be like King David. Don't threaten Jacob with a good time. The nation that shall not serve you, hey,
Famine, drought.
that's why the world is gonna learn war no more, because there's gonna be a powerful rulership on the earth that can't be contested.
Right. Read that again. So read. people. Read that line again in the next line.
Isaiah 2 and verse 4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their swords into pruning hooks.
See, it said they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and what?
And their spears into pruning
And their
hooks.
spears into pruning hooks. So it ain't gonna be no more weapons of war. It's going back to producing food, crops. Now read that real quick, Ezekiel 39.
What verse was it?
Start at verse 7 and read down 10.
Ezekiel 39 and 7.
This is when the Messiah kingdom is established on earth. You got it.
So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel,
This is the Lord speaking. Your heavenly Father Yahweh. Go ahead.
and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore.
Right.
And the heathen shall know that I am the Lord, the Holy One of Israel.
See, this is after that Isaiah 2 kick in. Right? When Yahweh's kingdom is established. Go ahead.
Behold, it is come and it is done, saith the Lord power. This is the day whereof I have spoken.
See? So this is going into Isaiah 2. It's going into Ezekiel 39 and saying, this is when the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. Go ahead.
And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go forth and shall set on fire and burn the weapons,
Let's go.
both the shields and the bucklers.
Now see, it just said in Isaiah 2, they're going to turn their swords into pruning hooks and their spears into plowshares. Go ahead.
The bows and the arrows and the hand staves and the spears, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years.
Go ahead.
So that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest, for they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoil them, and rob those that rob them.
See, spoil those that spoiled them. That's Jeremiah 30 and 16. And rob those that robbed them.
Bro, it said we ain't gonna pull no wood out the. We ain't gonna pull no wood out the forest to set them fires.
Right. No. Yeah. He said in Isaiah 9, it say, the people shall be for the fuel of the fire. Yeah. Go ahead, up.
And it shall come to pass in that day that I will go unto Gog, a place there in graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamagog.
Go ahead.
And in 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown the day that I shall be glorified, saith the Lord power, and they shall sever out men of continual employment.
See, this was the Lord going hey, this was finna happen.
Let's go.
Read that one more time.
And they shall sever out men of continual employment,
Continual employment. Go ahead.
passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth.
Hold on. Ain't Esau got that going on right now? Continual employment. It said in Baruch 3 and 8, we are yet this day in captivity, but we are subject to payments. They take tax out the check before you get it,
It's tribute.
which is off. That's tribute, man. And Lamentation 1, it say that all Israel is tributaries to all the heathen nations. Because, hey, we the biggest consumers on the planet, man. Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians.
With no resources.
With no resources. So this devil getting you money that you giving right back because they control all the resources. That's not fair.
And Yahweh's coming to take the kingdom.
Right.
He's taking, the Lord is coming to take control and dominion over all resources. And his rulership is not going to be tested. Once this happens, it's going to be known. Okay, try it if you want to. Try it and find out. That's what we're hastening the day to see that.
Right.
Because what's going on right now in the earth is filthy. It's disgusting.
Hey, man, that's why the lesson I did earlier on the way over here, hey, the truth has been evil spoken of because these devils don't want the Lord to come back to rule, man. So they had to slander the truth, man.
And that makes sense. And
Yeah.
them Edomites ain't supposed to believe this. They ain't supposed to hear this and say it's true. They're supposed to hear this and go the other way. They're supposed to call us crazy. They're supposed to think like that. That's just like it's not built in them to believe in the Heavenly Father. It's definitely not built in them to believe prophecy, especially concerning them.
What it said in Proverbs, it say, if the king's subject to lies, all his service is wicked. So these devils don't want to believe it. So they don't push the narrative that it's lies, it's not truth. Well, thus saith the Lord. Read that again up.
Because they walk around with this idea that they're going to reign forever.
Right.
That's the conclusion that they've come to.
Right.
Like other nations before them. The Egyptians, the Babylonians, they all think that they was gonna have, the Romans especially, they thought they was gonna have dominion forever. They had the rawest army that the world had ever seen at that point. They thought they was gonna have dominion forever. Just like these people here in America, they believe America's gonna stand at the top of all nations forever, and it's not gonna happen.
Right.
Even now, we're at the point where their own allies are beginning to turn against them. And just like all those empires before it, this one is gonna fall as well, man.
The Lord said in Job 24, they shall be taken out of the way as all other nations.
Come on, man.
We just wait for it to play out.
And the Lord is gonna set up a kingdom that shall not be taken down.
Right.
It shall not be destroyed. It's gonna reign forever.
So read that again.
Real quick.
Oh, you got
Before you get that, this is Isaiah 2, and I want to read this in the NLT.
Hey, and the Lord said this twice. This also is in Micah 4, man. You got it.
Isaiah 2 and 4, the Lord will mediate between nations and will settle international disputes.
Ooh, international.
Big bro coming to aid. Big bro coming to regulate. Let me see. The Lord gonna be there. Prince of Moab, Prince of Ammon, talking shit to each other, and the Lord gonna speak, and everything gonna shut the fuck up. Excuse my French.
Hey, because by that time the Lord is going to have commanded His respect.
Man.
These other nations, they ain't gonna listen until the Lord commands His respect, and that's what the Lord is coming to do through World War III.
Hey, just like we're learning how much fear is a great motivator.
Yep.
What you think they're gonna learn?
Yeah.
After they watch the Edomites get burnt up, they're gonna bring their disputes home.
Yeah.
After that, but that reputation has to be made. That demonstration has to happen, and that's what's gonna happen through great terror. Through those great judgments, they're gonna fear the Lord, because right now this world don't know to fear the Lord. So the demonstration is needed so they can understand that. Brothers say this all the time. Yahweh Shema Shah is gonna have a different ring to it in the kingdom of heaven, because they're gonna have the memories of everything that went down to get to where they at now. They're gonna know the famine, the death, the pestilence, all of that. They're gonna know, and Yahweh Shema Shah is gonna have a different ring to it, a different type of fear.
Hey, this picture right here. See this picture right here? When they burnt Jake, real time. See this? This finna happen to the so-called white man. Real time. Yeah. You don't get to see them stand right there. What they do? They sat right there with their kids and watched Jake burn for real time, man.
Took pictures.
And smelt that gruesome smell, man.
Took pictures.
Because otherwise, how do we get this picture?
Yeah. And that's how the reputation is gonna be stamped. They're gonna know to fear the Lord at that moment. They're gonna know to fear the Lord when they see those demonstrations. When they see that demonstration of power, like it says, and they're gonna see the Son of Man coming with great glory. That ain't just a word. That means it's gonna be fierce. How people get scared when they see these Edomite military set up in their country. Say, I'm gonna put the fear of God in you. The Lord is coming to remind the world why fear is necessary. The fear of the Heavenly Father is necessary, man.
Psalms 2 and 11 says, it say, you got it?
I'm still in
There it is.
Psalms. I said, no. You said Psalms 2 and 11?
Yeah.
Let me grab that.
No, it just, yeah. Bro, this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be
I had Isaiah 2 and
prophesying.
11.
We're supposed to be prophesying in fear, man. You got it.
It's Psalms 2 and 11. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling.
Bro, I've been reading this, bro, and Asaph said in Psalms 77:3, I remember God and fear, man, and tremble. Job said in Job 21:6, when I remember the Lord, tremble, man, fear.
Hey, because
It said when they remember, when the Lord put us back in remembrance, how we get here? From the judgment of the Lord. Why? No, not fearing the Lord and being wicked, waxing fat and kicking. Now the Lord put us in remembrance why we should be fearing the Lord, man.
And that's why the day of the Lord's judgment is it's needed. It's essential. The world ain't gonna learn to fear the Lord without the demonstration.
Right.
How do we know that? Because the Lord sent the prophets.
Right.
The prophets were always that sign of compassion. Like the Lord set them up to always do what? To speak to great nations and great kingdoms of what? War, evil, pestilence. But inside of that message was, look, just stop. Concerning our people, just stop what you're doing. If not, I'm sitting it. I'm sitting it and I ain't turning it back. This is the Lord sending out compassion now. So if the compassion is being sent out now and they won't accept it, the demonstration is necessary. Just like for us as a nation of people. When Jake wasn't listening to Jeremiah, the Lord was like, send them.
Right.
Send the Babylonians. Jake's starving, okay. It is what it is. Because I sent him out there, he ain't listen.
Right.
So let's do it.
And how did the Lord stamp his reputation in the ancient world? By our exodus out of Egypt. Through our exodus out of Egypt, you go into that account of Rahab, all right? She said all the men of the city, their hearts melted at the thought of our God, at the thought of our nation, because they knew what the Lord had wrought for our nation in the earth, man.
Right.
And that very same reputation is coming back to the earth, but in a greater way. Because this exodus is going to triumph the exodus of the old Egypt, man. The Lord is going to do more miracles and even greater wonders in these latter days, man.
But can you imagine them just walking around Jericho? They're like, what they doing out there? On the seventh trumpet.
And it's loud and
They just feel, man.
They were scared
That's
before
power,
that.
man.
They were scared before that happened. They was
Hey,
already
like, why
scared.
they walk around the city like that?
Yup.
And then all of a sudden, the gates fell, man.
Crumb.
That's power from the Lord, man.
I got
Fucking
one real
right.
quick.
You got it.
This is Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day.
Hey, and that's talking about the mighty men. We know the little peons. Hey, if that's gonna happen, because they say a mighty man shall cry their bitterly in that day, man.
go.
We talking about the big swole bodybuilders. They can't even wipe their own ass, man.
Or the 30-year vets in special forces.
Right. The
The
sharpshooters,
SEALs.
the snipers, yeah.
The vets in the SEALs, the highly trained assassins.
Yep.
The highly trained men of war in this world are going to be brought down.
Black water in
It
there.
goes into that.
How do you humble the looks of haughty men? You have to completely best them. You have to overtake them, man.
Yeah.
A haughty man, he ain't gonna humble himself until he's overtaken, man.
Right.
Like these Marines, these Navy SEALs, they proud because they believe that they the best and nobody's ever humbled them. But in order to humble a haughty man, his look, you gotta best that man. And Yahweh Shai's coming to best the whole world, man.
Hey, real quick, right? So I was watching this show, and they were showing how Jake, he had a Northern Kingdom chick out in Las Vegas, and how he cut her body in two, put her in two bins, and filled the bins with cement, right? Bro, you gotta be a cold person to do that. Cut her at the hip, the torso, and put the legs in one bin and the torso in another, and put concrete in both of the bins, right? And found an empty house in some neighborhood. I'm just saying, you gotta be cold to do that. The Lord gotta show, like, for these haughty men, for these mighty men that cry bitterly, they gotta see this type of judgment happen, and know it's gonna happen to them.
Yeah.
You got it.
This is Isaiah 2 and 12. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up, and he shall be brought low. Now, when you read this in the NLT, verse 12 says, for the Lord of heaven's armies has a day of reckoning. He will punish the proud and mighty, and bring down everything that is exalted.
Man.
Everything that is exalted.
Man, how do you do that? How do you bring down everything that's exalted? By completely overpowering what's set in place, man.
Yeah, man.
The Lord is coming with he's the apex predator, as they say in the food chain. The Lord is the apex predator. There's nobody above the Lord on the food chain, man. And the Lord is coming to set that precedent in the earth, man. Hey, when you go into these these haughty men, these military men, you know, it's arguably able to be said they've seen the most gruesome side of battle. They've seen men's legs cut off. They've seen amputated limbs. They've seen men blown up. They've seen gruesome things. So for the Lord to say that mighty men shall cry there bitterly, that means that what they're going to see in these latter days is going to triumph whatever they done seen, the most gruesome part of war they done ever seen, man. And that's how the Lord's going to best and overtake this world, man, and bring low the haughty looks of these men.
Right. Real quick, Hebrews, real quick. James 4 and 8. This is why Yahweh shall say coming for the meek and lowly. James 4 and 10, James 4 and 9. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter return to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and he shall lift you up. Because the scripture tell you in Luke that they that are exalted shall be abased, and those that are abased shall be exalted, man. Right. You got it, right? You read that again.
And if I may say this, you know, and if you call to remembrance how we won each and every one of our battles, it's through the Lord.
Right.
We never won a battle by ourselves,
Right.
and the Lord made that point evident. By
Yeah.
the 300 in Gideon,
Yeah.
the 300 in Gideon,
Yeah.
the Lord
Yeah.
said the
Yeah.
people are
Yeah.
too many lest they overtake them, and they think that they did it by their hand. So the Lord dwindled down the numbers just so he can show that it's of his might, man.
And he actually did us a favor.
Right.
Because that would have got Jake,
them
his
men.
mind would have got boosted up thinking that
too.
we them boys.
That's why we wax fat and kick in the first place.
Right.
In Deuteronomy 32, man.
Wax fat kick.
Yeah.
But that's how the Lord is going to establish the kingdom of heaven. It's going to be through that terror. And the same fear that we fear in faith, they're going to fear in demonstration,
Right,
which is
right.
far more frightening.
Yeah.
Precept. Yep.
Bring it up, bro. Start at
Hey,
one.
before you get that, because we paraphrased it a few times, I just want to bring it out. This is Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 14. It says, the great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly.
Ooh,
Hey.
real quick, get Jeremiah 30 and 6.
It says the mighty men shall cry there bitterly. You think about these men in Esau's military. They've been trained in gruesome ways, waterboarding, torture
Cold.
methods.
To be
They be-
numb to everything.
to everything.
Yeah.
Everything. They numb to everything. When they see casualties of war, when they see their comrades overtaken, they numb to it because they done seen it. They've been trained in it.
Yeah.
So for them to cry there bitterly, that means that the Lord is going to show them something different.
Yeah, man.
It's like them apparitions that happened to them Egyptians.
Played that mind.
It said that they feared the things which they saw not. I mean,
Right.
what they saw not more than the things that they saw, man. Them apparitions was hitting on a whole different level. And that's exactly what the Lord gonna bring to these so-called mighty men of this world. They're gonna crumble.
And when you understand rulership and dominion, it has to happen like that in order to establish that fear and that reverence. That's what the Lord's about to do. In order for them to fear the king, they got to know what the king capable of.
Yeah.
The day of the Lord is going to establish how far the Lord is willing to go.
Yeah.
And the world going to understand that. They're going to understand that that's why it's necessary. When you look at how the world acts,
Get it.
when they don't think the Lord looking, okay, he's going to establish his reputation through great terror. That's the only way they're going to learn to fear the Lord. And that's necessary. When you understand dominion, it's got to happen that way.
Great.
We cooking with fire right now.
Yes, sir.
Precept.
Yep.
Sirach 36. I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, have mercy upon us, O Lord, power of all, and behold us, and send thy fear upon all the nations that seek not after thee. Lift up thy hand against the strange nations, and let them see thy power. As thou wast sanctified in us before them, so be thou magnified among them before us, and let them know thee as we have known thee, that there is no power but only thou, O God. Shew new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works.
Hey, it say show new signs and other strange wonders. Only one can declare that to you is the hopeful elect, man. The men of the Lord, man.
And that's going to be established. It's going to be magnified on them through the demonstration. So as we fear the Lord in faith, when
Right.
it happens,
Right.
it ain't no putting that back in the bag. It ain't no time out. Lord, I'm time out. I done seen too much. It's
Right.
over with.
Yeah, yeah.
When the doors, whenever we went through it and the Lord sent the prophets and it was clear that Jake wasn't gonna get it, the Lord closed that door and it wasn't opening for nobody.
Yeah.
Jake don't consider that latter end. That when the lights cut off in this place, if Yahweh ain't covering you, it's over with.
Hey, that's why when Job 21 and Asaph in Psalm 77 said when they remember the Lord, they fear, man. Trembling, man.
Yeah.
Because what's coming?
Bro, we done had to eat leather.
Right.
Yeah.
We done, like you talk about taking L's as a nation of people, betting against the Lord and losing miserably.
It's terrible.
We done went through it, man.
Bro, the Lord said in Deuteronomy 28 when he said, hey, listen, y'all, you gonna eat your own children.
Bro.
And they
that's-
did.
and that ain't enough
And
to
they
make
did.
Jake consider, like, maybe we should try something different, like being obedient. So it's gonna take the Lord having to pick up the terror, because it says that this time we coming into
Yeah.
all of that we talked about, eating leather,
Yeah, yeah.
eating your own
Ain't
kids, ain't nothing compared to what the Lord's about to do now. And it's
Okay,
because
right.
Jake done went through all of them events to be reminded in the last days and still rebel.
Jeremiah 5. I have stricken them, but they have not grieved. I have consumed them, but they refuse to receive correction, man.
And in the ancient world, rebellion is punishable by death.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a king's rulership can't be threatened or questioned.
We said rebellion is as witchcraft, man. We know that's death. Hey, we can read that again.
2?
Yeah.
Isaiah 2 and
The
Jeremiah
Isaiah
30.
2, then you get to Jeremiah. Yeah.
So Isaiah chapter 2 and verse,
We remember the Lord, man. We feel, hey, through faith, man. You got it. Man.
verse 12, I start at 11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down. And the Lord, the red pill, all of that's going to crumble when the Lord bring this. Because these are guys that are haughty, proud. Because they live in Esau's system, and Esau give them a little crumb. Jacob's proud and lifted up, believing that this man is going to rule forever. Where the Lord's coming to humble and destroy everything that's been exalted in this society.
And he's been showing us now for a while what prophecy is playing out, man.
Continue Isaiah 2 and 11. The lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of the Lord of hosts shall be upon everyone that is proud and lofty, and upon everyone that is lifted up.
And it said the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. Do you believe that or no?
Right.
And he shall be brought low. Jumping down to Salaki.
And how is the Lord going to do that? By complete power. The scriptures say that the Lord has mastered his power.
Right.
And for men to forsake their gods, that means that they have to see something or experience something that they have never experienced under the rulership of whatever God they're serving. So what the Lord is getting ready to do is show his complete power in the earth, man. That's to the point where it's going to be known that he's the only God.
Yeah. Nobody else can do these things.
Nobody else. Who? Chariots. Oh, space lasers. The earth is opening up. Men are being beamed up. Men are calling forth fireworks. They bringing fire from heaven. What God can do this?
In the book of Numbers, it tells you that in that day they're going to say, what have the Lord wrought?
Yeah.
Like, what did the Lord do? Look at these people, how they have went from the bottom to literally something we've never seen on the planet before. You don't see one man flying in the earth without some kind of machine on him. Imagine a nation that do that. That's a Tuesday for them. That's a before Sabbath activity for them. Chariots above, that means you can see our nation, our city, our dwelling places from miles away. If you got a chariot above every household, just parked, ain't moving, it's just there, like a monument. Right there. Where's that? Right there. Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 17. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. So all these so-called tough guys, when this thing break out, when famine, when the collapse of this economy and this system and this society break down, you're going to find out a lot of these tough guys ain't tough.
Right.
Because the only tough guys really is going to be the ones that the Lord is covering. And they ain't tough on their own accord. It's the Lord putting the hedge around them. But all haughtiness is going to be brought low. And like the brother brought out beautifully, for men of war to be humble, it has to be terrifying. It ain't enough to just see somebody get shot or something. It's got to be terrifying. That's what the Lord is bringing to the earth. He's bringing pure terror. That's the only way these people are going to respect and reverence the Lord and know the fear, through pure terror. The type of terror that men of war can't handle. They say the mighty man shall cry that bitterly. A man who's used to seeing death, he's going to cry. That means it has to be devastating and terrifying to make those type of men cry and lose their own sense, because they're trained not to do that.
And Isaiah 2, go with that Zephaniah 1 and 14. Hey, if you can read that Jeremiah 30.
I got it.
Hey, if I can say this real quick, and that's why Isaiah 33 and 6 says, and the fear of the Lord is our treasure.
Right.
Because through the fear of the Lord, we're motivated to walk righteously. Because we understand that also through the fear of the Lord, it says in Sirach, the 19th chapter, the fear of the Lord is all wisdom and the knowledge of his omnipotency. We understand that the Lord is all powerful and that his workings are in all things. The Lord is in control of each and everything in our lives, man. And without him, there is no survival. Without Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we are completely doomed, man. And that's what the fear of the Lord teaches you, that everything is of the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And he's all powerful.
And to land back that point, you got it up.
Isaiah 26:9. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness.
So when the Lord's judgments are in the earth, the world will learn righteousness through that demonstration of death and destruction. But it said, with my soul have I desired thee in the night. And that's them shakes that Jake get on them late nights when you feeling it. Because you know what the Lord capable of, and you know you can never pay him back for what you've done. And you leaning on his mercy, literally. Those moments where you just in your crib and you just shook. Because you know what the Lord's capable of and you know what's coming. Because he's sending it. We watching the prophecies. And then you get those moments like how the Lord was in the garden. Pacing. Straight, and it ain't even on you yet. You just imagining what the Lord capable of and what he could do to you and what he should. And you hoping that he don't do that. Because it says, when it happened, the world is going to learn righteousness through violence. That's how they going to understand it. We know, according to our records, what the Lord is capable of, and we fear that before it happened. So there's the moments at night where you just like, man, Lord, please.
Right. Real quick.
Just please, you got it.
In Zephaniah 2:10, this shall they have for their pride, because they have reproached and magnified themselves against the people of the Lord of hosts. The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, every one from his place, even all the isles of the heathen.
Zephaniah 2.
The
The
Lord
Lord
will
shall
be terrible unto the heathens, man.
famish that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, Zephaniah 2:10.
10 and 11.
Yeah.
So this is Zephaniah 2, verse 10 and 11 in the NLT. It says, they will receive the wages of their pride. Man, it's because the Lord said he's gonna repay every man what they've done in their body, whether it be good or whether it be evil. And
Yeah.
again it says, Salakia,
That says in Galatians 6.
right? It says they will receive the wages of their pride, for they have scoffed at the people of the Lord of heaven's armies. Man. Verse 11, the Lord will terrify them as he destroys all the gods in the land. Then nations around the world will worship the Lord, each in their own land.
That means JC gonna be destroyed, Buddha gonna be destroyed, Allah gonna be famished. All these other guys gonna be famished, man. And every nation is gonna praise Yahweh by Shem Yahushai in their own land. Why? Because that respect is gonna be returned in the earth through terror, man.
It works. How prophecy is powerful because before the Lord did it, he put the spirit on men to tell you what's gonna happen. So you can't even say it was random. That would tell the whole world that he was always here. He never left. He was always here. He said his people was gonna fall off. They was gonna fumble the bag, fall off, get scattered, and then he was gonna build us back up. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. And then he was gonna inflict great terror and judgment against all the nations who even spoke against us.
Hey, that was a beautiful point the brother just made. He said the world is gonna find out that the Lord was always here. And me and the brothers was listening to a debate earlier about these different atheists and so on and so forth. And there's an ideology out there called deism, where they believe that there is a God, but he doesn't intervene within the earth.
Right.
And pretty soon the earth is going to know that the Lord was always here, by way of prophecy and by way of his people. And pretty soon, upon the visitation, they're going to know through action, through experience, that the Lord has always been here, man. And he's always been intervening in the lives, and that his will has always played out in the earth.
I got one for you. This is Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 14. Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt and the merchandise of Ethiopia and of the Sabians, men of stature, shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee, in change they shall come over, and they shall fall down unto thee. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, is in thee, and there is none else. There is no power. Verse 15 says, verily thou art a God that hidest thyself, O God of Israel, the Savior.
Right, and because the Lord hid himself for a moment in time, like it says in Psalms the 50th chapter, they believed that the Lord was altogether like themselves. They believed that the Lord wasn't here or that he don't intervene. But pretty soon it's going to be known that the Lord wasn't hiding himself. The Lord did hide himself, but he was always here.
Right.
He never withdrew his hand from the earth. He never withdrew his power from the earth. It was always here. He just hid it for a moment in time so that his complete power can be wrought in the earth. The Lord is always here, man. There's nowhere on the earth that you can go to escape the hand of the Lord. That's why the flee Babylon doctrine is madness. That's why thinking that you can escape the hands of the Lord is madness. Because there's nowhere on this planet earth that you can go that the hand of Yahweh Shem Yahushua can't touch you.
Hey, what did King David say? If I go in the oceans,
Now it's there. I make my bed in hell, you there.
Because you got these scientists, you got these atheists, you got all of these people that's trying to figure out, they want to see God, so to speak. What the scriptures say that the Lord, they're going to say in that day, oh, this is a power that hideth himself. Meaning that if the Lord hid himself from his own people, what make you think you're going to find him? But in that day, it's going to be known. The Lord hid his face from his own people, and by default, he hid it from everybody else, because the only way they know the Lord is through the nation of Israel, under Yahushua. And then they're going to understand, oh, man, they're going to get a glimpse of who they actually dealing with. Because the Lord ain't like us. People be trying to think of the Lord like a human being. Like you could just go down to South Africa and he over there in the cave somewhere. It don't work like that. We talk about a power that created all of this for fun. The Lord did this for his pleasure. Galaxies on galaxies, planets on planets. An earth so big we don't even know we don't even know all of it.
Planets bigger than the sun. Planets bigger than the earth. Galaxies.
And he did this for his pleasure. Meaning he didn't this wasn't hard for the Lord. Making creation, making all these creatures. It wasn't hard for the Lord. But when he said he hid himself, he did. And this is how the world operates when they don't think it's a God or when they think God not looking. So when the Lord reintroduces himself, he's going to have to do it, and he's going to do it with great terror.
Yeah, it's like when you're younger and you don't think your parents in the house, so they watching. And you running around the house, you jumping on the couch, you tearing up everything in the house, and then you looking around the corner, your dad looking at you just like this.
and you've been watching.
And you know you fucked up. And it's going, and you gotta pay for that. It's a whooping coming, man.
I got one. Yep. And to land back off that, what was it, Sirach 36, because it mentioned new signs and strange wonders. So Isaiah 28 and 21, for the Lord shall rise up as in Mount Perazim, he shall be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. Like the brothers were saying, hey, mighty men that are supposed to be trained, they're supposed to be numb to certain things. For a man of war to crack, to break, it means the Lord had to show you something that you ain't never seen before. That's what that's what he's getting ready to do. He's getting ready to introduce acts that the world has never seen before.
And on the right-hand side of that, great miracles are going to be wrought through the Lord protecting the elect who were never trained for that. They were only trained to trust in the Lord. The just shall live by faith. That's going to be their reward on the other side of that. Men who were trained to kill crime bitterly, and men who trusted in the Lord being saved and becoming a covert from the tempest.
Haggai 2, verse 22. And I will overthrow the thrones of the kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathens, and I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them.
Hold on, read that again.
Haggai 2, verse 22. And I will overthrow the thrones of the kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen.
Hey, what is Revelation 19? It said on the Lord's head with all the crowns, man, with many crowns. You got it. One more time from the top.
Haggai 2, verse 22. And I will overthrow the thrones of the kingdoms, and I will destroy the strength of the kingdoms of the heathen.
All that power.
And I will overthrow the chariots and those that ride in them.
Right.
And the horses and their riders shall come down.
Yup, the military and their power. You got it.
Everyone by the sword of his brother.
Ooh. And that goes into Isaiah 9 and Zechariah 14. Zechariah 14 and 13, it say, every neighbor shall be on his brother, man. The hand of your neighbor, man. 2/3 in the heathens. That was beautiful. We got it.
I got one real
This
quick.
is,
This is 1 Samuel 2:9. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail. So the mighty men are going to cry their bitterly because they believe that their strength is going to be the law of justice. And that their strength and their weapons of war can protect them from the judgment of the Heavenly Father. And for this same purpose was Esau raised up with a military, with direct energy weapons, with microwave guns, microwave cannons, with lasers, with all of these different things that he has, so that when the Lord destroys him, his reputation is stamped, ironclad. You can't question it. This is the most powerful kingdom the world has ever seen. When you deal with the United States, it's the most powerful kingdom that the world has ever seen since the beginning of humanity.
Right.
And when the Lord take this down, it's going to be stamped, and the Lord alone is going to be exalted in that day, man.
And this is Psalms 9:19. It reads, "Arise, O Yahweh, and let not man prevail. Let not the heathen," it say, "let the heathen be judged in thy sight. Put them in fear, O Yahweh, that the nations may know themselves to be but men."
And that's what they're going to know. They're going to know that they are but men and that we are the sons of God.
Right.
Because it's going to take that kind of judgment. Real quick, this is Wisdom of Solomon.
And to see these things play out, hey, 39 earthquakes in one day, man. Thousands, hey, it was over, they said over 10,000 earthquakes last year, man. And that might be the minimum number.
Well, they don't have to, because when you have an earthquake, usually they call what they call shock waves or aftershocks.
Yeah,
Those are earthquakes.
So this Wisdom of Solomon 18 and 13. For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn, they acknowledge this people to be the sons of God. So it's going to take that kind of judgment for them to acknowledge that they are the sons of men,
Right.
and that we are the sons of God.
Those are the Egyptians, right?
Yep, y'all the
Yeah.
Egyptians. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Because they were the most powerful kingdom in their era.
Right. And that's why Rahab say, hey, you heard about what you heard about what happened to Egypt, man.
I got another one real quick. This,
Hey, the Lord said they ain't even gonna be mentioned anymore, man.
yeah, it's gonna be known about this
Right.
Exodus. Man, this is 1 Samuel 2 and 10. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth.
Ooh, hold on, Salaki. In Psalm 83 it say, "O Lord, thy enemies have made a tumult against thee. They that hate thee have lifted up the head, man." That's why he said in Amos 9, I'm gonna cut all of them in the head, man. Nobody shall escape. You got it, Salaki, you read that again?
1 Samuel 2 and 10. The adversaries of the Lord shall be broken to pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. The Lord shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed.
That's Yahweh. Hey, it say he giving all power to Yahweh, man.
So it say he's going to give strength unto his king, which is
Right.
Yahushua, and he's going to exalt the horn, which is a representation of power, to his anointed, which is his people.
Right, elect first and foremost, 144 men.
Beginning with the elect.
Yep.
So power, like it says in Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter, because of unrighteous dealings,
Riches got by the sea.
the kingdom is what? It's translated from one people to another. Yahushua is the top of our people. He is the head of our people.
Top of the food chain.
He is the apex.
Yeah.
The Alpha.
Yeah. And he's coming to establish that.
I'm an alpha male, brother.
That's it on that.
You got it.
We got one else?
Psalms 33, verse 10. The Lord bringeth the counsel of the heathen to naught. He maketh the devices of the people of none effect.
Right. And that
Coming soon.
That go with Job 5 and 12. You can get that one then, since you were holding the Psalm 33. Get the Job 5 and 12. Oh, get Psalms 21 and 11. Read that.
I got a quick one.
Yep.
It's Jeremiah 16 and 14. Therefore, behold, the day is come, saith the Lord, that it shall no more be said, the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north.
That's what Rahab said. We heard about how the Lord brought y'all out of Egypt. We heard about how y'all ate on them for a long time in the wilderness. Gold and silver came out of y'all had good substance. You got it.
And from all the lands whither he hath driven them, and I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. That was it on that one.
Yeah, Psalm 21:11.
Psalm 21:11. For they intended evil against thee.
Right.
They imagined. For they intended evil against thee. They imagined a mischievous device which they are not able to perform.
Which they are not able to perform, man. Goes into what the elder read in Psalm 33 and 10. Everything these devils got planned, it ain't gonna work, man. You got it.
Psalm chapter 5.
No, Job 5 and 12.
Salakia. Job chapter 5, verse 12.
Yeah.
He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise.
See? Hey, they're gonna fail, man.
And it's supposed to look like they winning.
Right.
That's the point of the just living by faith.
Right.
If it didn't look like they was winning, the just wouldn't need to live by faith. If it didn't look like the odds were stacked up against you, your faith wouldn't be tested in the first place.
Right.
We are those spoiled kids on the right-hand side that now have to trust our Father gonna come through for us. We had it at one point. We was good at one point. We was protected. We got proud and got kicked out. Now we got to come home and just trust that our Father's going to do exactly what he says he's going to do. But in order for the Lord to do miracles and give us this great deliverance, everything got to be stacked against us.
That's the balance of the scales, man.
It's just like we were reading in Ephesians, the first chapter. That's the earnest of our expectation.
Right.
The earnest meaning the down payment. The down payment for the salvation, the down payment for the kingdom is our faith. Like the brother said, it's supposed to look like we against all odds. It's always looked like we against all odds, man. You go into each battle that we ever fought, it looked like we was gonna lose, man.
Bro, we was always the nation that ain't have enough resources, that was fresh out of captivity, like a Jake that just be in and out of jail. Just we fresh out the chain gang, Syrians, Greeks, Jake just doing bids. In and out, just doing bids. Never been able to be established as a nation for too long. And the Lord had to deliver us in all of our battles, man. And he did when we was obedient. That's why the Lord is saving the best for last. And he had to go through all of those things, each lifetime, each captivity, to learn this lesson. But the world is going to be able to see us as a nation of people and be like, damn, hey, let me just, Egypt, Syrians, the Babylonians, the Persians, man, them niggas been doing bigs. If anybody took a L, it was them.
Right.
As a nation, they're going to look at us like that. Because they just see us right now in this captivity. They don't even make the connection that we've been doing bids since we left Egypt.
Yeah.
We've been in and out the chain gang, repeated felons. And the Lord is right, he is well within his right to throw away the key. Give us life without parole.
Like you said, yeah, like you said.
So like,
Yeah, you got it.
the world has been our captivity.
The world is
America
our,
is maximum
it's
security,
maximum.
man.
This
This
is-
has been the worst, man.
this is the work because we don't even know who we
Solitary.
are. And the other ones you could, hey, let me get hey, Baba Kishon, in the other captivities, you knew we had to band together.
Wicked ass Shalom.
Yeah. but now you don't even have that. In the other captivities, to a certain degree, you could at least depend on your people. Y'all all had a common understanding while we here. You know like I know. Don't play dumb. Now our memory has been completely wiped. This is the worst one. This is maximum.
Right. Bro, real quick. So, I'm always going to the point about in Numbers 14 with Joshua and Caleb, right? Numbers 13. Those men that came back with a bad report.
Just reading that today,
Bro, listen.
I was just reading
The
that.
Lord was there. The Lord was present during that time, right? Moses was there. The Lord was present all the time. And them niggas ain't had no hope. They ain't had no hope. And the Lord was present at that point. The Lord was still dealing with Moses and Joshua. The Lord was there. The chariot was there. Like, Lord, them niggas ain't had no hope.
Saw the
Hey,
saw the
what did the Lord tell
Bro.
Moses? He said, why I gotta tarry with these? I'm gonna just start new with you. Bro. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
start new with you. I'm gonna cut a whole new
Bro.
generation with you.
How 12 men went to go spot the land. 2 came back with hope like, man, we finna take these niggas. 10 came by like, man, ain't no way we finna. They look like giants compared to us. We grasshoppers. The Lord said, hey, put them over there, kill them niggas. Joshua and Caleb, let's do this. They said, hey, we can take them. Bro, the Lord was there hovering, and them niggas ain't have no hope. Can you picture that? Just picture that slowly.
Real quick, to land back that point. This is Hebrews chapter 4.
Yeah, man.
Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 1. Let us therefore fear, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it.
Right. And that's the difference between the ancient Exodus and this Exodus. The Lord is only going to save those who are faithful to the very end, man. Back in the ancient world, all you had to do was just put that blood above your doorpost, just go through the motions. You know,
Right.
and the Lord, he took us through, and that's why he took us through the wilderness for so long, because Jake really ain't believe. But this one, it's completely different. The Lord ain't going to save nobody that don't believe.
He's like the 2/3 of 40 years, man.
Yeah, because they was the ones that really ain't.
Complaining. No food. Hey, in Deuteronomy 8 and 3, the Lord said he humbled us and suffered us not to eat, and then fed us with manna, just to see
Yeah.
who was going, man, when we going to eat?
Take us back to Egypt. Let us eat the leeks and the cucumbers and the onions and we was better off in Egypt. And that's how a lot of Jakes think nowadays, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we better off in America. At least we know we got, we can apply ourselves to the system and get some type of, get back. Hell no, man. Those who the Lord is gonna save in this generation, Lord willing, we be at that number, are those who completely trust in the
That's
Lord.
why I said
everything.
judges, bro. The Lord say, who here is fearful and afraid? Send them home.
Yeah.
It said 20 and 2,000 returned. That's 20,000 slow-bellied niggas that was scared. And the Lord was present.
That's what make it even that much more worse. Because at that time, the Lord was like, the Lord was literally hand in hand with us. The Lord said he was a pillar by day and a fire by night. Like the Lord was like, you could see it. Jake want to see shit
Bro,
now.
they was with Joshua.
Bro, like,
Hey, there was no other man at that point on earth other than Moses. The Lord was dealing.
and then you still had Jake that was unbelieving.
And we saw it.
Saw it, bro.
All those many miracles, we saw it. And it wasn't enough. That's why you don't get no sign on this side. You get the sign of Jonah. That's it. The
That's it.
prophets are present, whether you can receive it or not. That is your sign if you want one. Because when we had them signs, look how Jake was operating. When the Lord split the waters for us,
Yeah, man.
water out of a rock, manna.
Bro, the minute them niggas got on the other side of the Red Sea, them niggas went complaining. Soon the water went down. On the other side of the Gulf of the Suez, them niggas started complaining right then, man.
That's
Right then.
That's disrespectful at the least. Disrespectful at the least. Because imagine the Lord did all of that for you to build a damn golden calf and say
Yeah.
this did it for us.
Yeah, bro.
Come on,
Bro,
come on.
You know this was Jake.
hey, we needed this. We needed captivity. We need a factory reset, man.
Yeah,
Jake
we
was
needed
ungrateful, man. You got it.
Elder,
Real quick.
hold on.
I know we're in Jake right now.
So 2 Ezra 1 and 9. How long shall I forbear them unto whom I have done so much good? Many in Slakia, because it took what's that? Isaiah the 5th chapter talks about that vineyard representing Israel.
Yeah.
And the Lord said, what more could I have done to my vineyard? Because the Lord decked us out. So it's like, what more could the Lord have done? That's why the brothers talk about this. It hurts, but it's fair. It was necessary. What more could the Lord have done? 2 Ezra 1 and 9 again. How long shall I forbear them unto whom I have done so much good? Many kings have I destroyed for their sakes. Pharaoh with his servants and all his power have I smitten down. All the nations have I destroyed before them. And in the east I have scattered the people of 2 provinces, even of Tyrus and Sidon, and have slain all their enemies.
And it still wasn't enough for Jake. None of those works was ever enough for Jake to just be obedient. All we had to do was listen. All we had to do was listen. You got it, Elder.
Hold on, read that one more time, bro. That's heavy.
That's
Start
why
at verse 9.
bro, it's fair. It's fair. As tough as it is to see pictures of your people being burned and hung, what we did to the Lord was far worse.
Right.
And we ain't just do it once. We've been in and out of captivity for being disrespectful.
Repeat offenders.
That Ezra 9 and 13, man.
Yep.
We deserve far worse than what we got.
Yep.
That's why this is the good news. Think about that. This is the last time we gotta go into captivity. The last time. No more captivity after this, man. That's good news. That's why the gospel is the gospel, which breaks down the good news. Because for us, this is a long time coming as a nation of people. Since we left Egypt, it ain't been nothing but discipline.
Hey, that's what the Lord said in Isaiah 22, what the 17, 18, I will turn and toss thee like a ball into a far country.
That's all we've known since we left Egypt.
On them slave ships coming over here, man.
Belt the ass. That's all we've learned. All we've known since we left Egypt was belt the ass. The Lord just, hey, they don't want to listen, put them in captivity. They don't want to listen, put them in captivity.
Oh.
Warn them,
Oh.
warn them,
Right.
warn them. They ain't listening, put them into captivity. Jeremiah, go warn them. Ezekiel, go warn them. And what Jake do? They pull the shoulder. They doing it. They doing it now.
Every time.
All them captivities under our belt, and Jake's still pulling the shoulder. That's why it's gonna take this. It's gonna take getting violent and ugly. That's what the Lord's coming to do.
Oh.
Cause that didn't fix it. You got it.
But we're in the new covenant now.
Allegedly.
In the new covenant, you still going up, still getting jacked up.
Still teaching our neighbors. You got it.
That's what I was gonna say, bro. And the apostles and elders have brought it so many times. You don't even listen. The apostles and elders been going overkill. It say when we get the new law, when we get the new covenant, we don't gotta teach nobody. We still here teaching though.
Won't be wearing jackets.
That's crazy,
We
man.
won't have to teach our brothers. We won't
That's
have to,
crazy.
We won't have to teach who we are as a people. We already know that. The
Just-
conversation
man.
will start from Shalom and just go from there.
Just
won't
that
be no
alone,
need to teach.
bro. Like, why would you? We ain't going. And nobody will have to teach nobody in the new covenant. You got to read that.
Second Ezra 9 and 1. Slack it. Second Ezra 1 and 9. How long shall I forbear them unto whom I have done so much good?
Hey, we the only nation that the Lord that literally did miracles.
Right.
Things that have been said are impossible.
Right.
The Lord has done for us as a nation of people, man. The Lord kept the sun in the air for a whole day for us to fight,
Yeah.
for us to get our get back.
Yeah.
Who he did that for outside of us? We'll wait. Water coming from a rock. These are things that are too wonderful for people to believe now. And he's only done it for one nation of people. That's why the Lord said, man, how can I look the other way when they not only being disobedient, but they giving all they praise and worship to a damn stone. Niggas cutting out, making a man out of wood and saying, this my God. After everything the Lord done, you saw it. That's why the Lord say, tell your children what happened here. Just in case they get a little slow and I gotta do what I gotta do to them too. Bro, if none of that worked, the only thing next is death row. Now the Lord about to turn the whole planet into death row. And only a remnant, only a small portion of the remnant of the nation of Israel are gonna get that governor's call. You in that seat, you strapped, and the governor call and be like, hey, he's pardoned, pull him out the chair. He's not going. That's what we, Lord willing, we're praying to be pardoned. Because the whole earth is on that green light. And the Lord's just waiting to turn that switch on and all hell gonna break loose.
But
the remnant,
the Lord say, hey, just turn from your iniquity and I will pardon you, man. Go
Hey,
ahead.
if I may say this, and that's why we need the new covenant.
Right.
Because,
right?
like, just like the brothers going into, like the Lord told us to tell the generations after us. One thing about a message is, after a couple of generations, it's polluted because you have men of corrupt minds.
Yeah.
I give, like, if I tell a message to this brother, he go tell the message to that brother, that brother, that brother. By the time we get to this brother, it's completely different. That's why the Lord has to completely change us and give us that heart of flesh, so that we know the works of the Lord. We know how powerful the Lord is, and there's nothing that can corrupt that.
Pure heart.
A pure heart.
That's why I will stir up your mind. He said, will stir up your pure minds and the will remember.
And that's why the new covenant involves those new bodies. Where you don't sin, you don't go off. You don't lust after unrighteousness. so that you can actually be a judge that profits the earth. You can't be a judge that profits the earth and you still got to read the ingredients on your damn food, bro.
Yeah.
But we're in the new covenant. Like,
That's
what are we
crazy.
talking about?
That ain't even, man.
What are we talking about here, man?
Jake want to stay in captivity.
Yeah, you got it.
Back in 2nd Esdras 1 and 10. Many kings have I destroyed for their sakes. Pharaoh with his servants, and all his power have I smitten down. All the nations have I destroyed before them. And in the east I have scattered the people of 2 provinces, even of Tyrus and Sidon, and have slain all their enemies.
Slain all our enemies. The Lord gave dominion to King David where he could go through the Moab. He could go through Moab and say, keep him, kill him, keep him. He went through the line. Like, that's who the Lord is. That's how the Lord with it. All that death and bloodshed when Jake gets squeamish, the Lord with that. All of it. And that power is going to be returned to the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect under Yahushua. And that's what the Lord is coming to do. That whole message Christianity think the Lord coming back to start a new NATO that's all peace and it's all these nations and we all together, we all on one level and we all, nah. The Lord's coming to do that. Slay enemies.
Hey, he showed it with King David, man. King David stayed all the enemies for Solomon, man. So Solomon's kingdom can be established, man. You got it, Elder.
It's about the heathen.
Yeah.
Psalms 110, verse 6. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with dead bodies. He shall wound the head over many countries.
We understood this in the ancient world.
Right.
That's why people in the ancient world fought hard because they knew what was at stake. The Lord is bringing that mindset back on the earth. And it begins with the elect that are being woken up to this understanding. When our apostles talk about us being in Babylon too long, being in the Western world too long, it's a reason he says that because, again, these things were common knowledge in the ancient world. That when a king comes in the power, all adversaries got to get put down, they got to get put low, and they got to be crushed so that they can't rebel. Power is about to be established, but it can only be established through that type of violence. Thus with violence shall the great city of Babylon, roughly paraphrasing, be cast down, man, and shall be found no more at all. That's how the world is going to enjoy peace. It's going to have to be a witness under power. And through that power, they're going to understand why it can't be tested.
One more time, Elder, you read that.
Psalms 110, verse 6. He shall judge among the heathen. He shall fill the places with the dead bodies. He shall wound the heads over many countries.
Hey, and it said that, we read that in Ezekiel 39 about all the dead bodies, man. That's why we're going to have to serve our continuing employment for all them bodies. And it said what? He shall wound, read that again, the last one.
He shall wound the heads over many countries.
Hey, them heads, man.
Yeah.
Going back to them again, man.
Psalms 83.
Amos 9. The Lord said he's finna cut them all in the head, man.
Sirach 36.
Right.
Son of the heads of the...
Right. Read that real quick. You know, I forgot about that one, bro. I brought out the lesson a while ago.
This is Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 36.
Oh, and when you read in Genesis 3 and 15, when it say Satan shall bruise our heel, but we shall bruise their head. Romans 16 and 20 is the precept. It say Yahushua, it say the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly, man. You got it.
Sirach or Ecclesiastes 36 and 10. Smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen.
See? Man. So what else? Psalm 110 and 6. Read it one more time, you got it.
Smite and sunder the heads of the rulers of the heathen that say there is none other but we.
See? That's that pride. You got it. Man.
Hey, to land back that point real quick. This is...
Be amongst this hill.
Oh, you got it off Slack.
This is oh yeah.
These devils have no clue. Hey, that's what the Lord had to, man, that's why these parables, these dark sayings. Hey, if the Bible was in plain and it said, if Babylon said America, it wouldn't be no Bible.
Burned it up.
The Lord would have had to just, soon we came out the womb, we had to put it in our mind right then. That's the only way we would have had it. Because these devils would have destroyed it. You got it up.
I made sure we couldn't read.
Yeah, man.
Going back to the faithless. Revelations 21:7. He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his power, and he shall be my son. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and the murderers, and whoremongers,
See, it started, it said,
and so
so like, it said the fearful and unbelieving. They got to be weaseled out. Hey, we can't have none of those around us, man. Especially dealing with men. Like I said in Judges, hey, the Lord told Joshua, listen, ask anybody who's fearful and afraid. You had 22,000 niggas that raised their hand up.
Gideon.
Yeah, and Gideon, yeah. Yes, like Gideon. You got it.
but the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which
Bro.
is the second death.
It started off saying the fearful and unbelieving. They gotta go, man.
Hey, it's a beautiful part to that story too, because even though you still have men that resided after he said, hey, if you're fearful, go home. It takes more than he still cut off numbers from that.
Yeah.
Because it takes more than just being courageous. You got to be prepared as well, man. And the other ones that were cut off were the ones that weren't prepared.
What was another 7,000?
So
Here it is, 27,000 men went back to the villages, man. Went back to their tents. You're real, man. Come on, man. You don't got no respect after that, man. What kind of story you gonna tell your sons, man?
Yes.
You got it. You on the precept out?
I got something.
You got it.
This Ezekiel 16. I'm starting 1.
You got it. That's when we got that glory, man.
I'm reading NLT.
You got it. Go ahead.
Then another
Real
message
quick,
came.
real quick. So for edification on Judges 7, it's 22,000 of them went home,
Yep.
and that left 10,000.
Right.
And then from that 10,000, it got slimmed down to 300.
Right. So it was
That's
29,000 that went back. Right. 30.
That's
Yeah, 29.
32.
Yeah, 32. Okay.
Well, no,
29,000.
yeah.
22, you said 22 that left.
No, it was 31,000 that went back. 22 plus, no, another 7. Yeah, 29,000.
Yeah.
Because 300 stayed. So 30,000 men
Quick
in all.
math. They're quick man.
300 stayed. 29,000. 22 plus another 7.
Carry the 1, cross the 2.
That's crazy, man. So you had the 22,000 that was fearful and afraid, and the other 7 said what?
Oh, they weren't prepared
Right.
because they didn't lap the water.
Right.
And that's what the Lord is teaching us right now, to be not only courageous but prepared. Man.
Air, man. Oh, what's that?
Circumspect.
Ezekiel. 2 Ezra 16:40, man.
So 2 Ezra 16 and verse 40. It reads, "O my people, hear my word, make you ready to thy battle.
Right.
And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth."
Right, man. There's a battle coming, man. Get the one in Ezekiel. What's that? Ezekiel 13 and 5.
Ezekiel chapter 13 and verse 5. It reads, "Ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge for the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord."
Right. And get the one Ezekiel 7 and 14.
Ezekiel 7 and
There's a
14.
battle coming, man. Jacob's trouble. It ain't called Jacob's trouble for nothing. It don't say Edom's trouble, or Moab's trouble, or Ham's trouble. It say Jacob's. You got it.
They have blown the trumpet even to make all ready, but none go up to the battle.
See? You got it.
For my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof.
They don't want to go to the battle. Why? Because they fearful and afraid and they ain't being prepared. Because, hey, these other guys ain't preparing you for the battle that's coming, man.
Hey, they're telling you of the battle, but they're not preparing you for what's truly at
What's
score.
needed, right?
That's
Yeah,
why
what's
just
needed.
knowing you an Israelite ain't enough.
Right.
You have to actually understand the time that you're living in. You have to understand prophecy. When it comes to the MOTB, it can't be a gray area because again, we're in that time. You have to understand the mission at hand, not just understanding that you're an Israelite. And that's why the watchmen are set up, beginning with our apostles, to prepare you for the battle.
14 and 7.
Quick one.
God.
Zephaniah 1 and 12. And it shall come to pass at that time
Yep.
that I will
Beautiful.
search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their leaves, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good,
Right.
neither will he do evil.
Ain't no battle coming. It's gonna be like this forever, man.
Yeah.
We just gonna get old and die. Let's get this money.
Hey, subvertly, that's what you tell Jacob by saying that we're in a new covenant.
Right.
You can just relax at that point, right?
Yeah.
Ain't shit else. You can relax.
Well, you got it.
It's 1 Corinthians 14 and 7. And even things without life giving sound, whether pipe or harp, except they give a distinction in the sounds, how shall it be known what is pipe or harp? For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle?
See, there it is again. That's 4 times. About a battle, man.
Hey, and the trumpet is going into the doctrine, man. The prophets of the Lord proclaiming His word, proclaiming prophecy.
Right.
All right, giving the proper sound. Because back in the ancient world, you had different sounds for different occasions, for celebrations, for feasts, for war, and so on and so forth. And if you gave an uncertain sound, all right, you would put the people in danger. If there's enemies coming and you sounding the trumpet for a feast, the people gonna come out their house in mirth, not preparing themselves for war and get slaughtered.
Right.
You had to blow the right trumpet, man. You had to blow the right sound, and the sound and through the Spirit, starting with our elders, apostles, great millstone on down, the 100% sound, the 100% truth is coming from these men. That's the sound of the trumpet, man. Warning you of the MOTB, what it really is,
Right.
where we see society going today, what the name of the Lord is. World War III, famines, pestilences, evils multiplying upon the earth. This is the sure sound of the trumpet, man.
Hey, that's why it said Sirach 39 and Sirach 6. Hey, get thee to the great men.
Yeah. Where are the doorsteps? Men understand?
Right.
Because
Get thee to the great men of great millstone.
yeah, because by doing so, people like to make it seem like it's a thing of man pleasing, or
Right.
we're just following men, but through the Spirit, like Apostle Paul said, "Be ye followers of me, as I am of Mashiach."
Right.
We see that these men have been divinely inspired and set up by Yahweh by Shem
They was
Yahushua.
set up for this, man. How can you not see that?
It's not given. It's not given. And that's why ultimately, we went into that earlier, that faith is ultimately the ticket into the wedding. And everybody, all men have not faith. And then those who understand they're Israelites, there's levels to faith. Paul deals with how you should deal with a brother who may have weaker faith. That means he still has faith, but it's weaker and it's being edified or built up. But it all boils down to faith. All of it boils down to your ability to reveal the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua and be fully persuaded. Not just the parts that are commonly to you, but everything. That's why just knowing you're an Israelite ain't enough. In Matthew the 16th chapter, when the Lord was talking to the Pharisees that said they wanted to see a sign, they knew that they were Israelites. And what do you say? You don't understand the signs of the times.
Right.
Because it ain't just about knowing that you're an Israelite. It's about knowing the time that you're in to prepare yourself through the Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Come.
Matthew 11, start at 16. And whereunto shall I liken this generation?
Right.
It is like unto children sitting in the markets and calling unto their fellows, and saying, We have piped unto you, and ye have not danced.
Because they'll tell you that you're Israelites, but then they'll give you a gray area when it comes to the MOTB. And they'll leave this window where you don't, Jake can fall easily. Like the whole, you can take the jab. Yeah. That was a stumbling block. Because they didn't accept a distinct sound. A distinct sound was made on that subject, and they defaulted to what these guys said. And now everything is starting to play out years later, like, oh, we shouldn't have took it. Well, that sound was already piped to you, and you ain't danced. Now we're moving into the next one.
Next phase.
But the distinct sound is being piped. and Jake just not dancing because it's comfortable to just know you're an Israelite and just stay in that position. Mentally and spiritually, you just know you're Israelite. That's all you good right there. But it don't mean that it's gonna stay like this. It's still, prophecy is still moving forward, whether you prepare for it or not. And the watchmen are set up to show you through the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai what's coming up shortly, so that you can prepare yourself for it through the spirit of power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, man.
It says, we have more unto you, and ye have not lamented. I like the brother just said, because Jake, they want to be comfortable. Jake, they don't want to be in a state of mourning, sighing, and crying. They want to be comfortable.
Hey, telling somebody the day in the new covenant is rocking Jake to sleep.
Yep.
Wow.
Ain't nothing after that.
Yeah, ain't nothing after that. It's over. Oh, hey, get Amos 6 and 3. Read what you got.
This is 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets.
Right. That's it, man.
And they came in past time, and the Lord raised them up again in these last days to give Jake that final warning, so to speak.
Yeah.
That after this is the end of Esau and the beginning of Jacob, man. And that sound is being piped, but Jake not dancing, because this is good news. But you have to have faith to believe that in the first place.
So Amos 6 and 3.
Yep.
Ye that put far away the evil day and cause the seed of violence to come near,
That's what they doing. You got it.
that lie upon beds of ivory and stretch themselves upon their couches, and eat the lambs out of the flock and the cows out of the midst of the stall.
They chilling, man. They just want to chill, eat good, and chill, man. Netflix and chill. You got it.
That chant to the sound of the viol and invent to themselves instruments of music like David, that drink wine in bowls and anoint themselves with the chief ointments, but they are not grieved for the affliction of Joseph.
They ain't
Hey,
lamenting.
and that goes into the guy saying that y'all make this truth look boring.
Right.
We in a state of mourning.
Yep.
Do you go to a funeral to be entertained? That's where you go to get your entertainment, a funeral? That's the time that we in. This ain't supposed to be some Netflix series that you get all excited and binge watch. This is serious business. But we're moving from another stage of faith to another stage.
Right.
And considering the latter end is extremely important. And that's why our apostles always go into prophecy, because that gives us a window into how close we are to what the Lord is about to do in the earth. And to prepare ourselves for it through the spirit of the power Yahweh Shemel Shai with the precepts. Trusting in the Lord, the just living by faith. The Lord saying Jacob's trouble is going to come, but he will save you out of it. And you're being built up to trust that, so when everything boils down and breaks down, you'll revert to your spiritual senses and not your carnal ones.
Hey,
Just knowing you're an Israelite it's a part of it. But it's just living by faith, that's another part of it. The wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Being able to see what prophecy is, what it means, what the MOTB actually is, and not some gray area, so when it happens, you know how to operate.
Hey, and that's the difference between who the Lord has set up and who he hasn't. The discrepancies within doctrine. You know, because here it is, you're partying, you're partying with men, you're having fun. But the same men that you're partying with and having fun with have questions on what the name of the Lord is. And they have questions on what the MOTB is. They're not fully prepared. You're partying with a whole bunch of Jakes that you're leading to the slaughter. Basically.
Right.
That's what you're doing. Because at this point in time in 2023, men should not have simple questions like what the name of the Lord is. That should be known, especially if you've known about this truth for a minute.
Especially if we allegedly in the new covenant. Why are we talking about
The name of the Lord. That should be common knowledge. What about the MOTB? You shouldn't have men question that at this point in time. We're so far deep. We're in too deep to be asking those type of questions and to be in that type of mind state. The mind state that we should be in right now is one of preparation, man. Because what the Lord is getting ready to do is bring forth prophecy. All right, as our elders and apostles deem this year through the Spirit, the hopeful year that all the prophecies come to pass. And we're looking forward to the Lord performing the word that he ordained aforetime, man. And that means that we have to be prepared for the things that's coming upon the earth, judgment, as well as the salvation.
I don't want to wrap this up. I'm sick of this place.
Acts chapter 8, verse 30. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah, and said, understandest thou what thou readest? And he said, how can I, except some man should guide me?
Yeah, Jake think that the truth just dropped out the sky. And they don't have to answer to the order the Lord set up. That's like a Jake going into battle, and now they all of a sudden don't want to listen to the general no more. You just gonna take your sword and go do your own thing.
Yeah.
All right, it sounds good, but that's why even when you deal with Gideon, the Lord said, look, you got 32,000 men, but I don't want them to think that they on some type of level where they did this themselves.
Right.
So the Lord got rid of 22,000, then he got rid of 10,000. I mean, it left from 10,000, and then it got down to only 300 being left. They was already up against 135,000 men versus they 32,000. They had 32,000 going against 135,000 Midianites. And the Lord was like, if I let them win the 32 against the 135, they're gonna get proud.
Yeah.
Which lets you know how proud we was as a nation of people already. You outnumbered 135 to 32.
Yep.
And the Lord's like, nah. So you got 300 men going against 135,000? The Lord said, chopping them down 22,000, go home. Because it said they were scared, right?
Yeah.
Because they was going against 135,000.
Yep.
It wasn't no one-on-ones.
Yeah.
Ain't no one-on-ones.
Nah, it's gonna be 10 on 1.
Ain't no one-on-ones. Them Midianites came in deep. There ain't no one-on-ones.
Hey, but that goes to that hope. Hey, that faith. But the Lord was there, man.
Hey, and that's the
Yep.
Oh,
The Lord was there. I want to get if you can get Romans 8 and I'll start at 20 and read down to 24. You got
that's
so when you deal with them numbers, like when you deal with them numbers, having that army of 32,000 and they're only keeping 300, that means 31,700 men took their ass home and the Lord kept 300. That against 135,
finish
dude, fucking dude.
on his ass.
Embarrassing.
and feel home.
But we in the new covenant.
Yeah.
Now here it is an elder just fell, Jake. Bald head Jake with no beard.
Hit his head right on the concrete.
Just fell, but we in the new covenant.
Man, stop that.
Milk dud head. Hey,
Hey, you ain't got roasted, bro. Hey, let's get the precepts,
but
man.
hey, that's the importance of Jeremiah 3:15. Like it says, I will give you passages according to my heart.
Right.
Because
Right.
the true pastors will teach you these things. The true pastors will be warning you about these things, man. You know?
It's like it, because it's funny, but at the same time it's not. Like the shit gets old. Like I often think, like, even when it comes to 2/3, like, it's not personal. It's just how the Lord set this up. Because on the other side, it's gonna be good with the 2/3. But at the end of the day, business is business. But you get to a point where it's like you tired of seeing Jake bugged out, and you get tired of seeing your people like this.
Hey, but if I can speak to that point that the elder's bringing out in Acts the 8th chapter and the 30th verse, it says, "How can I, except some man should guide me?" And that's the importance of having pastors according to the Lord's heart. Because what you have in the earth, that's the importance of having proper teachers. Because what you have in the earth is a bunch of substitutes who don't know the true curriculum of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. They're just substitute teachers, man. They're just coming in to fill in a position. What the Lord has set up is true teachers by way of the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are giving you the proper curriculum in order to receive salvation.
Hey, you were just saying Jake just take his sword and just go out there.
Yeah,
Don't listen to the general.
I don't gotta listen to no man. You out there with a gun by your damn self. You
Hey.
gonna lead an army and I ain't gotta listen to no damn man. I got a sword too. All right,
Hey,
cool.
when you read the story about General Custer, that's what he did. When you read that story about General Custer, when the general, when the sergeant, the lieutenant, whoever he was,
I know
the colonel, he told him, said, listen, sit here with
And
your
wait.
men and just watch Gad and them. Hey, he had to go back and get more men, so they had to split the men up. I think it was 225 men, and they had to split the men up. So the colonel told Cluster to sit and just watch Gad and them till we get back with the rest of the men. No, this nigga want to go in by himself with his 125 men And Gad and them slaughtered their ass. Gad and them slaughtered them Edomites, man. Because he won't do it. He trying to get him a name and do his own thing. It said chief silhouette and all. They slaughtered them Edomites, man. You got it, bro.
So Romans 8, you said 20?
Yep.
Romans 8:20.
Hey, because the point of making the read this is about the hope, man. The hope, like the 12 that the Lord sent out to go spot the land. Joshua and Caleb came back with hope that they could take the land. Well, them other 10 that came back, they were terrified, man. And the Lord was hovering at that time. You got it.
Romans 8:20. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope.
Who have subjected the same in hope, man. This is about the hope. Go ahead.
Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High.
See, they already, the elect already know that. It's already in their DNA. To know that the Lord gonna do this no matter what, man. Going to what the brother was saying earlier, man. To put us in that situation, that's why the Lord said the meek and lowly he coming for. Not them that's boastful and proud. You got it.
For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now.
Right?
And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
It says this ain't natural for us as Israelites. This ain't natural for us to live like this. Dealing with paying, having to deal with subjective payments, being subject to another nation of people, dealing with Eve being against Jake and all of these different situations. This ain't our natural habitat. No matter how, stuck in the house, not having your own, living like sardines, right on top of each other, having to work for somebody else for most of your days, only having 1 or 2 days off for you to do everything that you need to do just to get right back on the hamster. This is not a natural habitat for us. And it was meant to be like this, so we would be so uncomfortable. We would want to come home.
Yeah, man.
We would say, you know what?
Get it.
Lord, I know, I see. Baba Kashah, I'm sorry. Whatever I did to do this, to get us here, Baba Kashah, I'm sorry. Get us, please. We'll serve you. We serving our enemies and we ain't getting no benefits. There ain't no 401ks, nothing. We out here losing, Lord. And the remnant are going to acknowledge their offense and return to Yahweh Shema Shah. And that's what it's all about. And it requires faith. And it, like the brother brought out, that was in them from the beginning. Because Art just brought that out too. In the kingdom, 2/3 going to be good. There's going to be no need for faith in the kingdom of heaven. It's there. It happened. Yeah. Everybody know. You ain't got to, man, I hope the Lord. Hope what? We here.
No. In Isaiah 65, at the bottom it said, before we ask the Lord for something, it's going to happen.
It ain't going to be no, I wonder if the Lord, in the kingdom of heaven, everything's stamped, signed, and approved.
Right.
Ain't no, I wonder, we going to know. From the least to the greatest, we going to know. It ain't going to, so that's going to make the elect, their journey is going to be more glorious because they had to believe.
Right. They
didn't know. They had to believe. They had to have faith that this was going to happen, even though everything in front of them was telling them it wasn't.
Hey, you know how cold that is too, and I just 65 said before we ask the Lord for something, it's gonna happen because it's already gonna be there. You're gonna be in the kingdom. Especially those that beat 144, it's gonna be there. That's kingdom.
And what more can we really ask for other than rest, man?
Right.
We've been like, like the brother was saying earlier, we've been
kids,
at it.
palace, food,
That's it.
family, love. All we need is rest, man.
Like the brother went into earlier in this lesson. You know, we've been at it ever since we left Egypt. Captivity after captivity after captivity. The Lord is gonna give us the ability to finally do one of these and just let our shoulders down and be able to be amongst our own in peace. You know, the Commonwealth of Israel. To the point where you know every man in your nation isn't wanted for nothing. You know, you can walk around a man in your nation and not have to have that side eye wonder what he's on today. You know, what type of mood he's on today. Because you know everybody's at peace. It's the Commonwealth, man. Everybody has a want for nothing.
Being able to have children and not worry. To actually be excited about your children. To actually be able to enjoy watching your children grow up, not struggling and fighting just so they can be nourished, and then hoping that they can make it under Esau's rulership.
I'm the favorite son. No, I am.
Or wondering if you do accumulate some type of wealth, you're gonna leave it to a fool. One that's gonna destroy the whole empire that you worked your whole life to build up.
Yep.
And then overnight he's gonna destroy it.
When you come back in reincarnation, it ain't there no more.
It's not there.
Yeah, the kingdom of heaven is going to involve commonwealth. That means a common benefit of Yahweh's rulership is that the nation of Israel is stamped. Anywhere you go, they're going to say, oh, that's the son. They say their seed shall be known among the Gentiles. Anywhere Israelite pull up, he's going to be a celebrity. Jake chasing all of that on this side, it's going to be really glorious in the kingdom. Because you could just pop in, and then your exit, you could just pop out. Break the ground under your feet as you zoom up. But wherever an Israelite go, they gonna be known like that's one of them. That's one of them. And then amongst Israel, it's gonna be like, who your daddy is? Oh, such and such. Nah, who's your daddy? Oh, yeah. He talking about, he talking about him. Hemi Neutron. He talking about
Hemi Neutron. Yeah. Timothy.
Hey, you talking about Timothy, man.
I said Romans.
Okay, go ahead. Read that verse.
Romans 8:24. For we are saved by hope, but hope that is seen is not hope.
That's what makes it so glorious. The just have to live by faith. They have to, and it was like, man, before it was here, before you saw chariots sitting over dwelling places, it's supposed to look like this. The men of the Lord are supposed to be offscoring. They're supposed to be looked at as completely crazy because everything in front of us makes everybody believe that this is going to continue like this forever. So that's going to be that great. I commended them that stood so stiffly because it was a time when it looked like Esau was winning. He winning right now. And the elect are in the midst of his kingdom saying, all of this is about to change. There's not going to be no buildings left standing in America. Thus saith the Lord. You tell an average person that they can't even fathom that. So when it happens, it's gonna be like, whoa.
Bro, it's crazy. I was just standing here before y'all came. When I was standing out here, I was looking at this building right here like, man, I was just thinking, that's gonna come down one day, man. It's gonna fall down with people in it, man.
That's
melt.
yeah.
Right there. I was just looking at that building like, man, that's something gonna go down, man.
But that's the treasure that is our faith.
God.
That's the treasure that is our faith. I got one for you. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. It says, verse 6, for the Heavenly Father who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, have shined in our hearts, to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of the Heavenly Father in the face of Yahushua Mashiach. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of the Heavenly Father and not of us.
Yeah, because we saying things through the Spirit of Power by Shemal Shah that haven't happened yet. Right. That means you didn't get that from somebody on earth. You ain't get that from somebody on earth. Ain't nobody in Cambridge talking about this, or Harvard. All these little Ivy League schools, the G7 summit, the NATO, they don't even know.
Right. Oh, John chapter 3 and 27 say nothing can be given except to be given from heaven, man.
And that shows the power of the Lord, that men of the nation of Israel from all walks of life you can think of have been joined together in one common cause, which is the spirit of Yahweh Shemal Shah.
That's right. Isaiah 48 and 12 it say, I called them and they stand up together.
Hey, and that's a part of that treasure, right? Because we've been given the ability to ascend past the capabilities of the flesh by believing in things that we don't see.
Right.
By understanding dark sayings, by understanding parables and prophecies, we've been given a treasure in the form of faith that allows us to ascend past the fleshly capabilities. Because people in this world, they can't fathom the idea of believing in a God that they can't see, or believing in a book, or believing in America falling. They can't fathom these type of things, man. That's a part of the treasure that we hold in these earthen vessels, and that's why the scriptures say the hold fast to that which you have. Because what we have in the form of our faith is everlasting life, Lord willing.
That's the spirit of accepting the Lord. Bro, it's the same. Read that again, Romans 8 and 24. That hope, man. That's the hope the Lord gave you, man. Like Romans 15 and 4 said these things were written aforetime ago for our learning, man. But the Lord got to give you got to be fully persuaded through the hope that the Lord give you, man. Through the Lord's Spirit. You got it.
Romans 8:24 again. For we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is not hope.
Well, listen. The Lord say that he said this wicked and dark generation, Matthew 16:4, seeketh after a sign. Ain't no sign me going, but the sign of the prophets, man. The Lord either gave you the hope or he didn't. One more time, Mark.
For we are saved by hope. But hope that is seen is not hope. For what a man seeth, why doeth he yet hope for?
If you could touch the bag, if you could just, you got everything you need on this side, why would you hope for something? If you can, it's easy for you to get it. Go ahead.
But if we hope for that we see not, then do we with patience wait for it.
And that's what, hey, the hopeful elect. It say with the Hebrew 12:1, man. It say patiently we waiting, man. We running a race with patience, man. You gotta wait.
Man, and that's when you go into that chapter, right? That's the importance of having that hope and
Right.
having the Spirit, because it says that the Spirit make an intercession for our infirmities that we can't, like, we don't even, like, we can't even, we don't even know. That's the importance of having that hope and that Spirit within you, because we have things going on within us that we can't comprehend. There's a battle going on behind the scenes that we can't comprehend. There's a race that we're running that we can't see all the obstacles just yet, but we have hope that we're going to overcome it through the Spirit and probably help by
Right.
Shemel Shai.
That's the next verse for already for you.
Yeah.
That's the next verse. In verse 26. Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities, for we know not what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered.
Hold on. To add to that, get 1 John 5:14. Read that.
I got it for you. This is our 1 John chapter 5 and verse 14. It reads, and this is the confidence that we have in him,
Right?
that if we ask anything according to his will,
If we ask anything according to the Lord's will, you got it.
he heareth us. And if we know that he hear us, whatsoever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we desired of him.
Now we know the Lord giving us our daily bread. What should we be asking the Lord for? To increase your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. This me personally. To strengthen me to endure until Lord will not get beaten up into a chariot, man. If the Lord giving you your daily bread, what you looking for? The Spirit to continue doing lessons, edifying lessons through the wisdom of the Lord, man.
Right.
And being patient. Strength to enduring to what's about to come, man. Jacob's trouble. You got it all.
Hey, because what we're learning is what? That power is in the simplicity. If we ask for the simple things, the Lord will increase unto us more than we can imagine.
Right.
We ask for more faith, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. We ask
Right.
for strength to endure. We
Right.
ask that the Lord take not his Holy Spirit away from us. These are things that we ask for daily, and as we ask for these things daily, the Lord has increased us to a level that we never would have thought of first coming,
That's read that again, bro. That's what's according to the Lord's will, man.
This is our 1 John chapter 5
Read 14 and 15.
and verse 14.
This is about the Lord's will.
And this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he heareth us. And if we know that he hear us, whatsoever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we desired of him.
Come on, man.
I got one to back you up.
You got it.
This is our Sirach or Ecclesiastes 35 and verse 17. It reads, the prayer of the 16. He that serveth the Lord shall be accepted with favor, and his prayer shall reach into the clouds. The prayer of the humble pierceth the clouds. Until it come nigh, he will not be comforted, and will not depart till the Most High shall behold to judge righteously and execute judgment.
Hey, we asking the Lord, and we talk, hey, it's the Lord's will, man. Oh, get Philippians 2 and 12.
Philippians chapter 2, verse 12.
Get Philippians 1 and 5. You got it? You can read that now.
This is Philippians 1 and 5. For your fellowship in the gospel from the first day until now, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach.
Well, so what Jay crying for? The Lord give us our daily bread. You need to be praying to the Lord to increase your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, that you may feed the sheep with sound doctrine, to strengthen you, your faith, to strengthen you to endure, man. You got it, Doc.
This is Philippians 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as much as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation in fear and trembling. With fear and trembling.
13.
For it is the heavenly Father which worketh in you both the will and to do of his good pleasure.
And to do of his good pleasure, man. This ain't about us.
Hey, you got to think, when you deal with a nation of people, when you deal with a kingdom being established, it's about the duty. Many men died during the battles with the Philistines, them different battles with King David. Many men died for the sake of the kingdom. And they ain't all known by name on this side.
Right.
In the kingdom they will, but at this point, it don't matter. That's why they're not mentioned in the scriptures, because it don't matter. But that's the duty of a kingdom. In order for a kingdom to be established, every man got to be willing to do their duty without trying to get vainglory. You got it?
I was just going to say Uriah, man.
Right.
Uriah was faithful, man. He was faithful. He didn't know what King David had done put together, man. He was by this king, man.
Right.
Going to stand on the front line.
Want to get back.
Yeah.
I ain't want to go back to the house.
He didn't want to go, hey, after the war over with, then I go home. But right now, I'm focused on the battle, man. He didn't know what was being plotted against him. He was being faithful, man. You got it up.
This is James chapter 1, verse 4. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect.
Start at 2 up. Start at 2.
James chapter 1, verse 2. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations.
Hey, real quick, I just want to get what Uriah said. This is 2 Samuel 11 and verse 10. And when they had told David, saying, Uriah went not down unto his house, David said unto Uriah, camest thou not from thy journey? Why then didst thou not go down unto thine house?
Like, you ain't tired, man? You got it.
And Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab, he called him Lord, which shows you the kind of honor and respect we have for the ordering of the kingdom.
Right.
But then, verse 11, 2 Samuel 11 and 11, and Uriah said unto David, the ark and Israel and Judah abide in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go into mine house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As thou livest and as thy soul livest, I will not do this thing. And he's talking to King David. He said, as you live, nah, I ain't going. Because when they said the Lord liveth, that was like an oath, like on me. They ain't, that was the kind of dedication Uriah had, man. And that goes back to that duty. We've lost that sense of duty, man. That's why Jake had that mentality of doing their own thing and not following the order that the Lord set up. Because we've lost our sense of duty on this side, because Esau's taught Jake to be his own individual and not to consider the nation. But the Lord is setting up that government, and it's happening now before our eyes, man. And that shows you, if Uriah had that kind of dedication, the elect are going to have that in these days, man. Right. And it ain't going to be about their house. It's going to be about building up the Lord's house,
right,
man.
Oh. You got to get that hair guy.
One.
You got it up.
James 1 and 2. My brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing.
That's what patience do, man. Because this is about the will of the Lord, man. Hey, get Hebrews 12 and 1. Lay them back there.
This is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1.
And that's why a lot of people fall out, man, get weak, man. Because they don't got no patience. Hey, this is the Lord, man. This don't got nothing to do with us, man. As it said in James 4, we just vessels, okay? We just vessels that appear for a little time the intangible way, man. So in Luke 17:10, it say what? This is our duty to do. Say what? We are unprofitable servants.
Hey, but what a lot of men don't realize is that your patience is a direct reflection of your faith. You know,
Right.
in order to have patience, you have to have faith, man. It's like that's a given. In order to be able to endure, in order to be able to overcome and take things cheerfully, your faith has to be on a level to where you know that Yahweh Shem Yahushua is with you and that He's going to carry you through
Right.
whatever you're going through.
Right.
Patience without faith is non-existent. You have to have faith in order to be patient, man. Which when you boil down to it, all the characteristics that we read about in the Bible that the elect have and that the men of old had, that the men of valor had, they all were coupled with faith. Faith is like the key. It's like the foundation to each and every characteristic that we need in order to overcome and endure to
Bro,
the
for
end.
the think about Eleazar not eating pork. I'm like, man, it ain't even no second guessing. Like, I know they're gonna put me to death, but they like, man, I'm not going. He said, man, to stain my reputation
Right.
with the Lord.
You missed something, man.
The three holy tears are like, hey, we ain't, listen,
This
they
resurrection.
even think about, man, what you think about? We ain't bowing down to this shit. We ain't going.
It's resurrection new life. You knew that.
The average Joe would be like, man, bro, you know he said he gonna put us in the fire. Man, fuck that fire.
Fuck him in that fight.
Throw me in there.
Hell with you.
You got it.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1.
It's easy to say and done right now. Hey, you either going or you ain't. Ain't no in between. Ain't no gray with the Lord, man. You either for y'all by Shema or you ain't.
And you're in too deep already. You watch
And
the
the Lord gave
videos.
that spirit to either be there or not, man.
Yeah.
You got it. Like,
Hey, you're in too deep already. You watch the videos. You've been learning.
oh yeah, you on the red, blue, green, orange list. You already on it.
So you might as well believe, because you in too deep.
They showed you in the movie, Darkest Mind with the girl. She was the orange. She was the highest of the kind. The orange, the red, the green, the blue, the yellow. Hey, you watching videos, you could be a scoffer. You already on the list.
Already. Already.
You already on the list, buddy.
Gotcha.
Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight.
Let us lay aside every weight. What is that, 2 Ezra 14? The burdens of man cast out not a weak nature. Let us lay aside what? Read it again.
Let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doth so easily beset us.
Who told us this? The so-called white man. To be weak, feeble, and frail and emotional. Go ahead.
Hey, one thing I like about this precept too, I love about this precept, is it says we're compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses.
Right.
We have the angels, we have the heavens watching us.
Right.
We have Yahweh Shai watching us, the Heavenly Father, we have the men watching us, all watching to see where our faith is going to take us. Man.
Right.
All watching to see whether or not we're going to stand boldly for Yahweh Shem Yahushua in the faith. Man. That's why it's important for us to lay aside every weight, because we're being watched.
Right.
And the Lord is watching us to our good. He's watching.
And we know, bro, this is the Spirit of the Lord.
Yes.
It ain't us.
Yes.
That's what make it easy. But the Lord got to give you the faith to understand making it easy. You got it. Takes a lot, man. The Lord got to be dealing, man. That's it. The Lord, y'all about Shema B'Shai, either dealing with you or they ain't, man. You got it all.
And let us run with patience.
Let us run with patience. So basically, you walking.
Unto the race that is set before us,
Come on, man. Go ahead, read the next verse.
looking unto Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith,
Come on, man.
who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of Yahweh.
This ain't shameful to us, man. We love this, man. And it said in Revelation 2, verse 4 and 5, this is our first love, man. This it. Lord willing, this who he was in ancient time.
got one real quick. It's Hebrews 12:1 in the NLT. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith.
Oh, and Psalm 34:7, angels encamp around them that fear the Lord. So if it's 10 or 9 of us out here, so it's an angel around each. What if it's 2 angels? Each one of us could have 3 angels watching. We don't know. You got it.
Hey, it says the what? That's cool.
To the life of faith.
Right.
Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up, and let us run with endurance the race Yahweh Shema Shai has set before us.
Witnesses to the life.
We do this by keeping our eyes on Yahweh Shai, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame. Now he is seated in the place of honor beside Yahweh Shema Shai's throne.
And it said in 1 Peter 4:1, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind as Yahweh Shai, man. But the Lord got to give you that type of spirit, man.
I got another one.
You got it.
Verse 3 in the NLT, think of all the hostility he endured from sinful people, then you won't become weary and give up.
Because Yahweh Shai is our forerunner. You know, like you have these different cyclists that look up to Neil Armstrong. When they go into that cyclist, when they going on tour to run those long cycle journeys, they look to Neil Armstrong and his walk. You know, but for us of the faith, we look to Yahweh Shai. You know, the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the glory of the kingdom endured the cross, man.
All right. Like magicians. They look at Houdini,
Yep.
right? David Blaine and all these different guys. Yeah, man.
'Cause
He
that's
sees
the-
the author and finisher.
Yep.
The Alpha and the Omega. You got it.
In the NLT, it describes him as a champion. When you go into that word champion, it says victor in a challenge, contest, or competition. A champion is the victor in a challenge, contest, or competition. And Yahweh Shai is what? He's the first.
That's why I say behooved him, man, to be made like his brethren.
Hey, what did the Lord say? Be of good cheer. I have overcame the world.
Right.
Yeah.
He
He's the victor. Yeah.
man.
And through his victory, we have access to that same victory.
Get 2 Corinthians 8 and 9. Through his victory. You got it.
Revelation 12 and 11. Matter of fact, I started verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb,
Right.
and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death.
Hey, and that's why I said Revelation 12 and 17 that the dragon was brought with the woman because they have the testimony, they keep the commandments of the Lord and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai, man.
Now, when you go into the etymology of champion, it's cold.
Let's get it.
You go into the etymology of champion, it says this: one who fights on behalf of another or others. One who undertakes to defend a cause.
Man, get Hebrews 2 and 10, man.
That is great.
10 and 11.
Damn,
So he's described as our champion in the NLT.
Right.
And the Lord ultimately is our champion. He's the one that Yahweh set up as the Savior, as the Redeemer.
Yeah.
He is the champion. He's the one that the Lord sent to be the champion of our cause, man. Lord, will we be a part of that number?
You gotta read that.
It's 2 Corinthians 8 and verse 9. For we know the grace of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, that though he was rich, yet for our sakes he became poor, that ye through his poverty might be rich.
Come on, man.
Another part of this definition says this. It says the sporting sense in reference to first place performer, one who has demonstrated superiority to all others in some matter decided by public contest or competition.
That's Yahweh Shai.
The condition of the battle. And Yahweh Shai is the one who conquered death. Through his actions, we are able to, Lord, when we be a part of that number, we have access. But he's the champion that kicked the door in, so to speak.
Right. That's why that's why I say behooved him to be made like his brothers, man. Read that.
Hebrews 10 and 11.
We know, we see, man, it was done in the flesh.
Right. Right.
The Lord did it. And we don't even got that kind of life.
Hebrews 10 and 11. And every
2 and 10.
Hebrews
Read 2, 10 and 11.
chapter 2 verse 10.
Yeah.
For it became him for whom are all things,
Right?
and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings.
See? Perfect through suffering. Hold on. In Ephesians 4, it said, well, we got to get Ephesians 4, start at 10. Go ahead and read.
For both he that sanctifieth and they who are sanctified are all of one.
Come on, hold on. 1 Peter 4:1 said, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. It said they are all one. Read that line again.
For both he that sanctifieth
But he that sanctifieth, Yahushua, go ahead.
and they who are sanctified
The elect men of Israel, go ahead,
are all one.
are all one. Go ahead.
For which cause he is not ashamed to call them brethren.
Now read that.
This is Ephesians 4 and 10. He that descended is the same also that ascended up far above all heavens,
Right?
that he might fill all things.
Right?
And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints.
Hold on. For the what it said in Hebrews 2 about being perfect. Read that again.
Hebrews 2 and 10. For it became him for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons unto glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through suffering.
See? It's about being perfect, man. Yahushua did it. Where he at, man? Waiting for the glory of the sons, man, the brothers. Read that.
Ephesians 4 and 11. And he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some teachers, pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints.
See, we gotta, whatever measure the Lord gave us after Yahushua, it gotta be filled first. Because again, we keep saying this, whatever finna play out in Jacob trouble, however it's finna get, we all gotta be numb to it, man. Go ahead. Read that out one more time.
For the perfecting of the saints.
For the perfecting. For the perfecting. Go ahead.
For the work of the ministry.
Right?
For the edifying of the body of Hamashiach. Till we all come to the unity of the faith.
Till we all come to the unity of the faith. Go ahead.
And the knowledge of the Son of the Heavenly Father.
Right?
Unto a perfect man.
Unto a perfect man. Go ahead.
Unto the measure of the stature.
Unto the measure of what stature? Of who? Go ahead.
Of the fullness of Hamashiach.
Come on, man. Then Philippians 3 and 21 play in. When you shall get a glorious body like his. This is a condition of the battle, man.
Because the king had to endure the shame, man.
Right.
We're talking about the king.
Right.
Not a king. The king had to debase and be lowly. And we have to follow in that same mindset from the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah. I could make the same.
So let's say till we come into the full measure of the statue of Hamashiach, man. Can you picture that?
Like I was
Come on, man. And all we gotta do is suffer a little bit, man.
Really? Really?
If I may add,
Look at that.
if I may add, because Yahushua being the author of our faith, he laid that blueprint for us. Because it's about being perfected in the spirit. Because granted, we're not going to be perfect in the flesh like Yahushua was, but it's about being perfected in the spirit.
Right.
And that's when Yahushua said, the scriptures talk about how Yahushua conquered the world, or it's like how he overcame the world. He mastered conquering the flesh.
Right.
And again, it's about putting on. Part of being in this truth is about putting on, or cutting off the flesh more and more, and putting on
the spirit
more
and
and
destroy
more.
the flesh, man.
And that's why I
We
said
talk about it all the time, man. You gotta stay exercising your spirit to overpower the flesh, man. Or the minute you wake up, it's a boxing ring, it's a boxing match, man. You got it.
And that's why it says in Matthew the 5th chapter that the Lord said, "Be ye perfect as your Father in
Right.
heaven is perfect."
5:48.
We strive for perfection. We understand that in the flesh we won't be there, but that's not an excuse not to strive for perfection.
still
Right.
the standard.
Right.
It's still the standard. Whether we can accomplish it in this flesh or not, because we can't. It's still a standard.
Putting on therefore as elect. Colossians 3:12.
That's the standard.
And that's where we're going to get the new bodies. That's why we're going to get the new bodies, because that's when we'll be perfect, and that's when the new covenant was
right. Because you made it to that point, like it said in Ephesians, to the full measure and stature of Yahweh Shai, man. That's heavy, man. That ain't no light thing, man. You got it. Go ahead.
Yep. All right, this is Matthew 26 and 29. But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.
Come on, man. That's when you, now you got the body like Yahweh Shai, man. That's why he gonna say, hey, well done, my good and faithful servant, man. The Lord gave us the tools.
Yeah. And that's that victory that only the elect are going to be able to partake in, man. You know, those who overcame and strove for perfection on this side and endured their cross and finished their course.
Man, these niggas that's reigning like kings right now, allegedly, because they ain't kings, because this ain't their kingdom. They just some high-paid servants. They gonna be babes in that day.
In reality, they cowards, man. They took the easy way out.
They cowards. They get a coward's reward.
They took the easy way out, because this road is like the scriptures say, this is a straight gate, man. You gotta forsake the things of this world, and wait on Yahweh Shai to return it 100-fold. It's about patience. Our reward is not tangible on this side. We ain't gonna be able. The fruits of our faith aren't able to be seen as of yet. It's coming, but right now it's not able to be seen. Why we put off pork? Why we don't commit adultery? You know, why we live our lives a certain way? To the world, we seem as madmen. You know, why are we doing these things? Because our faith is intangible. We're not able to get the bag off of having faith. It's just not what comes with the ministry. We're not able to command 10 women. You know, that's not just what comes with the ministry. Our lot is that of a soldier, that of one who's on a straight gate, a straight and narrow path that has to stay focused. And eventually, at the end of that straight and narrow path comes the why. It comes the reward.
Charles White said, I don't see no Hebrews with no, they ain't riding no Porsches and Lamborghinis. I don't see no Hebrews with no women. All right, nigga.
And it's beautiful that the Lord has it that way, because if we did have those things, we'll destroy ourselves, man.
Right.
Eventually, the flesh will overtake you. I don't give a... It don't matter how righteous you think you are. Eventually, if you constantly surround yourself around things of the world, men of the world, eventually your spirit is going to be corrupted. It don't matter how righteous you are. That's why the scriptures say is, unless the Lord shorten the days, no flesh should be saved. Because eventually, if you're surrounded by that, the cars, the women, the bag, the hoes, the money, all the glorious things of this world, eventually it's going to corrupt you.
And eventually, family going to be at your table. Eventually, your neighbor going to be at your head. And the mills are going to be coming. One day, just up out of the blue. Because you don't got no care in the world. You just living like it's 1999.
Living my best life.
Yeah, a party, man. The Lord said he coming like a thief in the night, man. Picture your house getting broke in at 3 in the morning and you sleep. That's the Lord. Lord, hold on, Lord. No.
Ain't no hold on.
Bring him forth. Slay him real quick, please.
And that should put fear in you, man. You know, we speaking about these things, and it really should put fear in you, because that's how the Lord is coming.
Yeah, man.
Like, a thief don't give you no warning. It was a dream that a brother had a while ago about the return of the Lord and how he came in the midst of a party. And when he came, the brother said that innately every single knee bowed, like you couldn't resist it. Your knee just bowed. And the Lord gave you a look, and out the crowd of the party, the Lord was like, you, not you. You, not you. I don't know you. You, I don't know you. And as the Lord was doing that, it's like, when you picture that, that's how the Lord is coming. Like when like the days of Noah, like people partying, they bullshitting to the highest extent, they bullshitting to the best of their ability. Then the Lord gonna come back, and every man is gonna be subject to what he's done in his body.
Hey, Slocky, guess what? America is a party, man. somewhere, one of these states in America, 24/7 business is running. Go to Vegas. 24/7. It's business. The Lord, hey, America is the party. Because it's always business in America, 24/7. Everybody is partying.
That party's coming to an end, though.
Yeah.
And that's why the scriptures talk about not trusting in uncertain riches. Jake making these claims of generational wealth and all of this shit in the midst of the Lord translating the kingdom from one people to another. Ain't nothing permanent in a scenario like that. That's why the scriptures talk about being as pilgrims on the earth. Those who got as if they're going to lose. Why? Because we're in a time where a lot is going to be lost in this translation from one people to another. You have to prepare your mind for that reality.
And you talk about, well, like the scriptures talk about a thief in the night, man. And we got a small glimpse of that back in 2020 when everything shut down out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You're like, brother say it often, we thought that was it.
I got one for you.
Oh, you got it?
No, you got it.
Go ahead.
You got it.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4, starting at verse 14. For his soul pleased the Lord, therefore hasted he to take him away from among the wicked. This the people saw and understood it not. Neither laid they up this in their minds, that his grace and mercy is with his saints, and that he had respect unto his chosen.
Right.
Thus the righteous that is dead shall condemn the ungodly which are living, and youth that is soon perfected the many years and old age of the unrighteous. For they shall see the end of the wise, and shall not understand what God and his counsel have decreed of him, and to what end the Lord has set him in safety. They shall see him and despise him, but God shall laugh them to scorn, and they shall hereafter be a vile carcass, and a reproach among the dead forevermore. For he shall rend them and cast them down headlong, that they should be speechless, and he shall shake them from the foundation, and they shall be utterly laid waste, and be in sorrow, and their memorial shall perish. And when they cast up the accounts of their sins, they shall come with fear, and their own iniquities shall convince them to their face.
That's where you was at?
Wisdom of Solomon,
4.
chapter 4,
Yeah. Get 12 and 1.
12 and 1.
Yeah. Read 1 and 2. Cause 2/3, man, they come back in the kingdom, but they gotta die, man. That's why, hey, Lord willing, we're trying to get out of here on the first resurrection, man. And I say this all the time. This ain't about no crown. This ain't about no rewards, man. This is our first love, man. This is who we are. The Lord made us, this is who we are, man. We have responsibilities, man. Forget the perks that's coming in the kingdom, man. This is about a responsibility that we got, man. This is who the Lord made us. That's the law from the Lord, man. He gave us his laws, statutes, and commandments, man. And the water for being brought back to it, man. Because we could still be out here doing whatever, man. With, hey, Job 36, dying without knowledge, man. You got it, read that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things.
And I was bringing that out, dealing with these robots, man. Robot that killed 29 people. The Lord's spirit was in them bots, man. Go ahead, read one more time and read 2. Yeah, no, it was 4 robots in Japan that killed 29 of the people that was at the well. I'm assuming it's a science lab.
Yeah, in the lab.
In the lab. Yeah.
Terminated.
Yeah.
Wow.
Read it again.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verse 1. For thine incorruptible spirit is in all things.
In all things, spirits created for vengeance. It's from the Lord. You don't got no fear, you will. Go ahead.
Verse 2, therefore, chasteneth thou them by little and little that offend,
2/3 and heathens. Go ahead.
and warneth them by putting them in
And
remembrance,
see, it's about warning them by putting them in remembrance. Who? The hopeful elect. Go ahead.
wherein they have offended,
Right?
that leaving their wickedness, they may believe on thee, O Lord.
See that leaving their wickedness, hey, get behind thee. Putting on a new man, being transformed by the renewing of your mind. Go ahead.
For it was thy will to destroy by the hands of our fathers both those old inhabitants of thy holy land.
See, this is all about Jake, man. For Israel's sake. The Lord said he made the world for Israel, man. And he's going to destroy 2/3 because this is supposed to be for them. This righteousness, man, this glory. And they don't want it. That was the point. I know you holding something else. You got it. Yeah, man, they don't want it, man. Terrifying, man. The Lord said his incorruptible spirit is in all things. So when judgment happened, don't say it was Satan. Oh, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Or he was at the right place at the wrong time. No, he was with the Lord right there. Where he's supposed to be at. Right there. Hey, the elder in Dallas, man, Lord, where you want to stand at? Why you burn these niggas up? Where you want to stand at, Lord? Lord willing. Yeah, hey, him, hey, stand right there. You got it.
1 Timothy 6,
Jake,
verse
this
1.
is a game, man. The Lord ain't playing, man. Hey, he's giving us eyesall to see he ain't playing. The rest of the world don't see it, man. You got it. Sorry.
1 Timothy 6, verse 1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor, that the name of power and his doctrine be not blasphemed. Verse 2.
And hey, that's that Matthew 11:28, man. Take the yoke. Hey, if you can get Sirach 51, we're gonna start about verse 20. You got it.
And they that have believing masters, let them not despise him, because they are brethren, but rather do them service, because they are fruitful and beloved.
Hey, and that goes back to the apostles of Great Millstone, man. The elder bishops and the elders, man. You got it.
Partakers of the benefit. These things teach and exhort.
See, what benefits? The Commonwealth of Israel. Come back to the knowledge of who you are. So-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans. You got it.
If any man teach otherwise, and contend not to holy words, even the words of our Mashiach Yahushua, and to the doctrine which is according to goodliness.
Right, man. That was beautiful, man. We are being renewed, man. The Lord will put us in remembrance.
Sirach 51 and 20. I directed my soul unto her, and I found her in pureness.
Wisdom, man. You got it.
I have had my heart joined with her from the beginning.
And that's why it says in Sirach 38, all right, he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, man. That's how you direct your mind into righteousness, man, by giving your mind, by being renewed by the spirit of your mind, man. You know, by directing your mind on the ordinances of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. It's like it says in Joshua, the 1st chapter, once we do these things, then we begin to become prosperous and have good success in the spirit.
Right. Beautiful. Read it one more time out.
Sirach 51 and 20. I directed my soul unto her, and I found her in pureness.
Hey, and the Lord got to, hey, we can't do this by ourselves. The Lord got to get this to you, man. Go ahead.
I have had in my heart, I have had my heart joined with her from the beginning.
From the beginning. The Lord said you had known the scriptures from a child, man. Go ahead.
Therefore shall I not be forsaken. My heart was troubled in seeking her. Therefore have I gotten a good possession.
See, hold on. He said heart was what? Read that again.
My heart was troubled in seeking her. Therefore have I gotten a good possession.
What Solomon say? I saw him on my bed, but I found him not. I said, I'm gonna go about the city, seek the Lord. He said, I went about the city, but I found him not. But then I came across the watchman found me. Go ahead.
The Lord hath given me a tongue for my reward.
Hold on. Luke 21:15. I will give thee a mouth and wisdom that your adversary can neither gainsay nor resist, man. Read it again.
The Lord hath given me a tongue for my reward.
Come on, man. Oh, I just read in Isaiah 49. He said, the Lord have made my mouth as a sharp sword, man. Go ahead.
Hey, cause what's that old saying? That's not true. Words will never hurt you.
Sticks and stones may break my bone. The word never hurt.
That's not true, man.
That's a lie.
Words hurt.
Words hurt, and they hold power, man. By the word of the Most High, all this was created.
Man, get Jeremiah, get Jeremiah 23 and 29.
I got to preach that real quick.
You got it.
There's Ecclesiastes chapter 28 and verse 17. The stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones.
That's it. Because the stroke of the tongue, really the words are more powerful than any action that you
Exactly.
can do.
Let's prove it. Thus shall we. Thus saith the Lord. You got it.
It's Jeremiah 23
And 29.
and 29. It says,
Thus saith the Lord.
"It's not my word like as a fire, saith the Lord,
Huh?
and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces."
Come on, man.
Yeah. Hey, and what do we see? We seen the Black Panthers. We seen Marcus Garvey. We seen all these movements that Jake has had. But the most impact that has been made in the world has came through the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Right, man.
And I was gonna say, because if words didn't hurt, if they didn't make an impact, why is Esau trying to come against us so hard? And all we're doing is reading the scriptures out of the Bible.
You think that we just be some people that they put on the back burner because we just Bible thumpers, but this is what's holding the most weight in the world today. This is what's causing World War III to be ensued. This is what's causing men to wake up and ask questions about today's society. This is what's causing these things, not any uprising that Jake done came with. Because the words of the Lord is as a fire and his people as a wood. And they being made of stubble here in these latter days, man.
Hebrews 4 and 12, man. Read that.
This is Hebrews chapter 4 and verse 12. It says, "For the word of the Heavenly Father is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart."
What do you think the Lord said in the last day is going to be markers, man? Jake on the coming board talking trash, they hurt. Vocab Malone and friends, hurt.
Hurt zone.
This truth, man, listen. Truth hurts, man. Oh, get Proverbs 27:5. Read 5 and 6. You got it.
Real quick, the 2nd Maccabees chapter 15 and verse 16. Take this holy sword, a gift from Yahweh Shem Yahushua, with the which thou shalt wound the adversary.
Right, man.
Hey, we know 2 Corinthians 10 tells us that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal,
Right.
but mighty through the Heavenly Father to the pulling down the strongholds.
So it got to be foolproof. You got it.
Proverbs 27:5.
Right,
Open rebuke is better than secret love.
right.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend.
Hold on. It say faithful are the wounds of a friend. Through what? Telling you the truth. Hey, it's the truth. It may hurt. It's gonna hurt. Cause the truth. But it's the truth. Go ahead.
I got one.
Hold on. Read it again.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend,
Right.
but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
You see? Oh, it's one scripture that say, I gotta find it. When the wicked tell lies, it say, woe to them. I gotta get it, the lies that hurt the person that said them because it offend him because it's not the truth. I forgot how it's worded, but it's in Proverbs. You guys know.
This is Galatians chapter 4 and verse 16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth.
Right. Right, man.
And we have become the enemies of the world because
Right.
we proclaim truth. Because this world hasn't been rooted on truth. It's been rooted upon lies. So when the truth comes forth, it's offensive, man. But the truth is necessary because upon finding out the truth, you find out your true purpose. You know, it's like the first time you tried out for the basketball team, and the coach told you just don't got what it takes to make the team. It hurt. The truth hurt. But you found another avenue that led you to push harder. That led you to train. You know, that led you to find another purpose in life, man. That's why the truth is important. Because it allows you to find your purpose, and by the truth being restored unto us, we found our purpose as being men of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, as being prophets, Lord willing, as being those who stand boldly for the faith and for the name of our power.
Right, here it is. Talk about Yahweh Shema Shah. Proverbs 26 and 28. A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. The point is, say, a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it. Why? Because they know it's not the truth. It says a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it. That's heavy, man.
Hey, and the lying tongue is being found to be in the mouth of a lot of men here in these latter days, man.
Right, because if you love lies, it don't bother you. It's a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it.
It comes a time in a man's life where smooth things hinder his development, man. In order for us to develop, in order for us to grow, we had to move out of that stage of being wanting to hear comfortable words and smooth things, and to hearing the truth, so that we're able to reprove ourselves and set ourselves in order according to the standard of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.
Right. You still holding Proverbs 27? Read 6 again on Proverbs 27:6. Because it say, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. What's the kiss of an enemy? Lies, man. Read it.
Proverbs 27:6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend.
The truth hurts. It's the truth. It may hurt a little while. Then you be like, you know what? Because it said, another verse in Proverbs say, those that speak the truth, they love. A righteous tongue, the people love. A righteous person will love it. It may hurt. Like I made this analogy one time before. You hanging out with another guy. Y'all go out and see two chicks. You probably got some coal in your eye or something, and the guy never say nothing to you. Y'all sit around these chicks the whole time. Then after y'all leave, you be like, damn, bro, you got something in your eye. So I've been sitting around the chick the whole time. She ain't say nothing. You ain't tell me before we hooked up. Now she probably be like, man, this nigga ain't come out the house clean. She don't even want to holler at you no more. For something that your homework could have told you. Read that again. You got a book of hands, you know. He ain't said nothing. But y'all done met two chicks. You got it.
No, I was gonna make like
Got it up.
it's like Jake that want to be a rapper. His best friend, they both in the studio. And his best friend, instead of telling him that his rhymes is whack, he's like, yeah, bro, we gonna make it off this.
Yeah.
Hyping them up.
No one here ain't gonna make it. Read that. It's saying it right here in this verse. You got it.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend,
Right?
but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
Instead of say faithful are the wounds of a friend, instead of saying, nah, bro, you got me. You might hurt his heart, but in the end, he's gonna be like, bro, thing, you know, it might be later down the road. Read it again.
Faithful are the wounds of a friend,
Right.
but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
But the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. So if you want somebody to lie to you, no, we gonna tell you the truth. What my brother just read. Have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
Yes.
That's why, bro, the Lord said, this ain't our word, it's thus saith the Lord. The Lord say, Esau gonna be exposed, he gonna be bare. Now these devils out in the front talking about, ain't no God. Jesus is made up. They ain't even hiding no more. Because the Lord say they ain't gonna be hiding behind the walls. They are, and we don't gotta be a fly on the wall no more at their crib. They on TV saying it now.
Oh, man.
They used to be hid saying that shit. Now they out in the opening because the Lord said what? He's gonna make Esau bare. He gonna uncover his secret places. They don't got no trouble but to say it on live and whack. Nah, they gotta say it in front of us because the Lord made it that way. Now the world, oh, Proverbs 26. It say his wickedness shall be shown before the whole congregation. Now everybody see, this devil is the Edomite. That's them. It say he should be revealed in his time, right? We still waiting on them to be revealed? No.
We know.
We see this wickedness. The devil just passed a law to sell us cloned chicken. The food ain't real. Who we still waiting for to be revealed?
It's him.
It's him.
If not, who is?
Right.
Where who is?
You got it.
Psalm 73:15. If I say I will speak thus, behold, I should offend against the generation of thy children. Like brothers was talking about, man. Hey, this truth hurts. You know, a lot of this truth deals with self-reflecting, self-examination, acknowledging that we the ones that went off, so on and so forth. But Jake, they don't, you know, they can't look themselves in the mirror and nah, you know, I ain't do nothing wrong.
Hey, read 17.
Psalm 73:17. Until I went into the sanctuary of God, then understood I therein.
Look, this is talking about the Edomites. Until we came into the sanctuary of the Lord. Read that one more time, bro.
Until I went into the sanctuary of God, then understood I therein.
Now we know what their end gonna be. It's being burnt up by fire, man. For all the wickedness that these devils have done in the earth. It said they wet their tongue like a sword, man. Everybody love lies. What's that, Isaiah 5:20? They call evil good and good evil. Put bitter for sweet, light for darkness. The so-called white man did that.
But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then shall sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief.
Going back to the prophecy, man. We supposed to be what? We don't know what year we in, man. This devil calendar is off, man. This nigga go by the sun. The Lord established the moon. This devil got us writing from left to right. We supposed to write from right to left. 2 Thessalonians 2:4. This devil is total opposite of everything.
New Year.
Right. The new year started in March, not January. And who told you the new year was in January? Who told you that? The so-called white man. The damn devil, man. Everybody want to party in 2023, January the 1st. That's not the beginning of the year. You slow-bellied niggas. Go ahead, Shalak.
Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober.
And we watching the prophecies. We watching what's going on. Earthquakes happening every day. MDK happening all day. We were talking about this earlier. Man, it's so much death on people killing their parents. Kids killing their mothers and their fathers. It's overrated, man. It's overrated now. It's bad, man. Whole family just, hey, honey, bring the kids.
And you know, a society is at a unrepairable point when these types of deaths are just common. You know, Jake see these deaths on the news, and it's like it's not even a shocker no more. Man, 17-year-old kid killed his mother and father for not wanting to do the dishes.
Yeah.
We done seen that before.
Bro, there's so much death on adultery. These men killing their wives for adultery. I'm talking about they knocking them off, man. This is the love of many waxing cold, man.
Ain't no love out here, man.
Ain't no love.
But it's not enough. This is why Yahweh
Right.
Shah has to turn up even more.
Right. Yeah.
Bro, that's why, if you can get Jeremiah 5 and hold that, I want to read that too before we close. Jeremiah 5, verse 3, down to 5. Bro, the prophecy is playing out, man. We don't know what year we in, but we know what the prophecies say. We close. The MOTB is mainstream media.
Yes.
Mainstream media.
See.
Glenn Beck and redacted in them and Double 7, they talking about the MOTB a lot, man. Nobody was talking about this, man. This is mainstream media, man.
And the reason why we're so fervent on these topics is because these are the end time prophecies. These are the things that set to happen before the Lord returns. Like, this is the MOTB, World War III. Those are two major end time prophecies that is now starting to speak frequently in our time. And that's a sign of Yahweh Shah's return, man.
Right.
Jeremiah 5 and 3. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved.
Hold on. It said, are not thy eyes upon the truth? It say, justice and judgment is the habitation of the Lord's throne. Mercy and truth is before his face, man. In Psalm 89 and 14. Go ahead.
Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction.
2/3 of J. The Lord has consumed them. They refuse to receive correction. Go ahead.
They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return.
No, you read it said that has stricken them.
That's
Yeah.
Verse 4, read it again.
Verse 3 again. Jeremiah 5 and 3 again. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved.
Right?
Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return.
You see? So what's left? What's left after that? Being grieved and consumed? What's left after that?
Fire.
Fire, man.
Fire upon your top.
Or famine. You're gonna die by famine. You got it.
Same verse in NLT says, Lord, you are searching for honesty. You struck your people, but they paid no attention. You crushed them, but they refused to be corrected. They are determined with faces set like stone. They have refused to repent.
Man, and the Lord truly has crushed us as a nation. You know, when you look at our state, we're in the ghettos, the barrios, the favelas, in every corner of this, in every corner of every country that you think of. Our children are degenerates. The family structure is non-existent.
Ain't no damn family structure.
So it's non-existent at all. The culture that's promoted within our people, Black Latino culture, is one of complete death and degeneracy. The foods that are promoted upon our people ultimately lead them to their own self-destruction. I mean, really, the Lord has crushed us on all avenues of life. Economically, we have no structure of economics. We have no resources. We have no monetary system. We have no military. We have no culture, no language, no land to call our own. I mean, we've been completely crushed.
Nobody standing up for us at the UN.
Nothing. We can't even get a heathen to stand for it. We've been completely crushed as a nation, but yet our people still refuse to consider their ways. Still refuse to hearken unto the Lord. And that's why the Lord gonna have to, like the brother say, turn up the judgment and let it be known who the Lord is, man.
He said, oxen over his owner. And the ass is master's crib, but Israel do not know, my people do not consider. You will. Death by pain, man. Ain't gonna be no down in your sleep neither.
You think Jacob consider, Jake love to prop themselves up as being prime athletes and intelligent and creators and inventors and entrepreneurs. You would think they'll consider, well, who's giving me the ability to be all these things? Why are we stronger than these other nations? Why are we smarter? Why are we more capable of all these other nations?
Stronger, smarter, with no resources.
Why are we like this? You think Jacob consider that, but they don't.
Yeah, something. Go ahead.
Curse. Deuteronomy 28 and 23. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under these shall be iron.
Slavery. Consumed by slavery. From the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. From having the yokes on to without having them and not trying to escape.
Man.
That's what that is.
Now we subject to working jobs, so you got to work 65 years just so another man can say to his children, you don't have to work for the rest of your life.
Right.
Whereas your children, you got to train them up to get acclimated to the system so that they can break their back just like you did. That's complete destruction as a nation, man. That's not normal. And that's not how we should be living our lives, man. Just so you could maybe retire after 65 years and maybe live 3 years after that to enjoy whatever 401k or whatever plan you got.
And you got to get on that job and you got to be young, 19, 20, 17, 18, so you can retire.
Shit, and the cold part is, you
35 plus years.
Man.
And you paying a death note, because that's what mortgage is.
7 times out of 10, you still paying child support. You still paying loans from your schooling. You still in all types of debt at the age of 65.
Maybe your house will be paid off and you can leave it to your kids who, when you die, their ass is going to lose it or sell it. But you done worked 50 years to pay this house off. But we in the new covenant.
Come on, bro. Ridiculous. Then you got people you see at the Walmart, you see old Jakes. I'm talking about gotta be in their late 60s, early 70s, still working.
Yeah, at the Walmart.
That's wicked as hell, man.
They check that they get every month, they retire from some job, it ain't even enough. And on top of that, if it is enough, they trying to stay busy, because once you tap out and stop working, you're gonna die.
And that's true. That's actually a study. They did a study on that.
When you stop working,
You're done. That's why these other Jakes, these retired Jakes, they take on part-time jobs, different hobbies. They encourage you to take on a hobby because after you stop working, you are susceptible to die within the next 3 years, man. Because your body, it goes through like some type of shock. Because you're used to working every single day, waking up to a clock every single day. When you break that cycle, it's like a shock. And
Esau use our people like Jake, get a gun and go hit a Jake with a gat and throw it in the garbage. Oh, we just throwaways to the Edomites, man. It's just a throwaway, man. Old burner phone, man.
now they're talking about up in the retirement age.
Yeah, the 75.
That's how you know, hey, the money about to crash. The system is done,
73.
man. Yeah.
All these things you're supposed to see being wrought in the earth. First and foremost, you're supposed to cry inside for the abominations that be done in Mr. Love.
Making a wise man mad.
You're supposed to be angry and you're supposed to be asking questions. Why is it like this? And how are we going to get out of this situation? Why are we in this situation? And upon asking questions, the Lord will sup with you and knock at your door, man. But you got to ask questions.
Somebody that can help you understand. But Jake is, they fighting it out the hard way, man. But anyway, you got it out.
You saw Revelation chapter 3 in verse 10. It reads, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast as thou hast, that no man take thy crown."
So with that, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory
To Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, B'Kavadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who were well and peace, salutations, blessings to you, hopefully elect out there. Lord willing, this was edifying. That Shalom, Shalom,
Wow, for tuning in. May you help my Shema Shah continue to bless you in your house. Stay prayed up. Hey, watch for your precepts. Shalom.
Shalom.